Sure, get them likes up, get them likes up. Appreciate all the support. Thank you guys. Make sure you guys get them likes up. King Talk, you know what it is. The Lapeef Network, you know what it is. Make sure y'all get them likes up. Get them likes up. Should get them likes up. What's going on? Welcome to King Talk. Let me introduce the crew. We got Trill. We got Rilla. We got Ricky. Shannon. Humble Dad. And me, myself, on Lapeef JR. Welcome to King Talk on the Lapeef Network. How y'all doing, family? How y'all doing?
Incredible, big dog. Appreciate you asking.
Doing well, man. How about you?
Man, I can't complain, man. I woke up this morning. That's a blessing right there. So I just appreciate each and every morning that I wake up to get another chance to experience this here thing we call life.
Yes, sir.
And the church say amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm gonna start with this reading from the book of Isaiah, the book of Isaiah. It says in chapter 1, verse 7. Y'all wait on that
I thought he was getting his bag.
I was about to say, what is he finna pull out of there?
I say, he really
What?
put his glasses on. He started. He got the book.
Yeah, I'm like, what is he finna pull? I'm going through my mind like Isaiah 1:7.
Yeah,
I'm with Humble Dad. I'm like, what he finna pull out of there?
man.
I was just gonna roll with it too. I was gonna roll with
know,
it. He was
man, I
sounding
know.
convincing. I was just gonna ride with it.
It was a good lead in for sure.
Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Just in case y'all was misinformed, we bike. Happy
Thanks.
Tuesday.
You spell it for him, really?
BYKE. We bike.
We back, baby. Shout out to the Green Gang in the chat. I see y'all. Y'all green again, man. Let me put this out there, man. I see y'all. There y'all go. Brittany B, Mods, make sure y'all monitor the chat. Want to make sure we keep those dusties out, as Anton was saying. Keep those dusties out the chat. Make sure we be respectful. We're going to have some great conversations tonight. We got the all-star panel as usual. I'm looking forward to tonight, man. Again, I want to say I appreciate y'all. I'm just reading a couple of things. J.I. ain't no Bible thumper. No, not at all. But I am going to make some time to start reading the Bible. You know, I'll read it here and there, scriptures here and there, but I do want to start from the beginning and finish so that I can truly relate to that Bible talk that we seem to have so often on this network.
You know what's interesting for me? I read the Bible one time from starting with the New Testament and then went back to the, like I literally started at Matthew and then went through the New Testament, then went back to the Old Testament. It actually made most sense, but it also depends on which translation you read too.
Yeah, shout out to the lead attorney.
TLA, what up?
Yeah, thank you, brother, for everything. I sent them a message, and I'm saying it again, man. I can't thank everybody enough. I tried to shout out as many people as I can, but I just want to say thank you for the people that reached out to us, that held us down continuously, even following us over to the live last night. It was an awesome live. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you guys go over there and do it. And let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. We got Ricky Williams in the house, man.
Hey, what's
Williams,
happening?
man.
What's happening?
Yeah, that's the one-hitting quitter, Mr. Mike Dropper himself.
Peace to you guys and goddesses. I pray y'all is having a great day, great week, great life. Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm talking about, like, you ready to go. I don't even want to go toe-to-toe with Ricky. It's like it's going to be a long night. All right, okay. Like, tap out. What they do in MMA? Like, do some shit like this? You tapping out?
Conversation. Nothing wrong with discourse. Ain't nothing wrong with discourse.
Okay. Island Girl, you already know what it is. Make sure you watch that chat. So let's hop right into it, gentlemen. Our first topic of the night. Oh, before we get started, shout out to the sponsor, Tej Hanley. Shout out to Tej Hanley. It's early.
Man, you got to run it tonight, bro. You got to run that tonight.
Yeah, I'm definitely got to run it. I'm definitely got to run it tonight. Make sure you guys click the link in the description and get your Tej Hanley. I know Christmas is over, but guess what? We still got some birthdays, and we still got to maintain that perfect skin, right?
Thanks.
Yeah, they got a day and night treatment.
Right. And how about ladies just, go get your man something. You know what I'm saying? Just to be him. Tej Hanley.
There you go.
Lapeef DEC.
There you go. There you go. You heard Ricky said. Yes. Keep that skin looking good. Yes. Church say amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, y'all. Again, thank you. Hit the likes up. Get these likes up. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Memberships are open. Hit that join button. And let me get that off your screen. First topic of the night. How much influence does a woman have over a man's behavior? How much influence does a woman have over a man's behavior? I was listening to a conversation, and one of the brothers was saying that a lot of things that men do today is because of the women. I'm not sure if that's necessarily true or not, but let's have a discussion. I am curious as to what you guys have to say about this. And I'm going to start with you, Rilla. I seen you looking away, man. You're looking all over the place. You did a whole circle with the line.
I'll be thinking, man. Yeah, it's funny, and I'm glad you added a little bit of context when you said today, because that's the part that I'll be forgetting. Let me answer the question outright, and then I'll flesh it out a little bit. How much influence does a woman have over a man's behavior? In the time that I grew up, I would say, a lot. It was, if you were trying to romanticize a woman, or if you was trying to, be a gentleman, she walking over a puddle, you throw your coat out there, you open the door. Like, these are all behaviors and mannerisms. And in my day, when I was coming up, we was taught these things, and even down to like the status symbols, how you dress, what cologne, what smell goods you had on. A lot of things was centered around the woman, which means her influence your behaviors and how you move. When I think about these young bloods today, they pride themselves, and I'm not saying this, I'm not talking nothing bad against these young bloods. At least the ones that we see, because I don't want to demonize, we talk in general, so I don't want to categorize everybody and say everybody is doing this. But what we see primarily in media and what gets celebrated is this savage mentality, and it's funny because I know a lot of people always go back to not doggy style, the Chronic, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. It was a pivotal moment when we acknowledged that mentality and we adopted it, and we started celebrating it and live by that, to the point where now you have a full generation that has grown up on that mentality. And not only do they not value women, the woman herself has minimal, my opinion, minimal influence on these young bloods' behaviors. Minimal influence.
Okay. Trill, what are your thoughts about it? How much influence does these women have over a man's behavior?
Damn, this might be the first time me and really disagree. I would say
Why?
women have the most influence over men's behavior. Again, I think I spoke about it a few weeks ago. 98% of what men aspire to accomplish and want to do is fueled by a woman. If women didn't care about men being broke, most men wouldn't be chasing money as hard as they are. They out here buying clothes to impress women. They out here buying nice cars to impress women. They going to the club and spending $500 on a $50 bottle of liquor to impress women. Most of it is, like, if you look at most of the reason black men die, a woman is somewhere at the root of it. Like, men will kill you fast over a woman, and they'll kill you over money. So in terms of like influence and behavior, I say women have a heavy influence, but the problem is that it's the wrong type of women that have the influence now in comparison to what used to be, like what Rilla was talking about. What used to be, like, it used to be way more solid women that was influencing men. They was influencing you to do more productive things. Why? Because we were in harsher times, right? So we were sticking together more. The family unit was more important, things like that. But now, with this women empowerment situation, and the family unit not being as close, women out here moving the way that they moving with a "I don't need a man" type of mentality, or city girls type of mentality. Like, I want the bag, I want the money, I want this, I want that, and if you ain't got that, don't even approach me. That's causing dudes to move wild out here, break the laws to go get their money, and you got on a $400 belt but $30 in your account because I want to impress these women. So it's heavy influence. And I would say that, matter of fact, too much influence. I think men need to get back to what our moral code is, and then we'll be much better off. But, it's very few dudes out here moving according to what their personal moral code is, and that's why we're in the position we in.
Hey, Trill. Hey, JR, can I jump in real quick?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Before you do,
Yep.
today is Trill's birthday, you guys. Trill's birthday.
I was about to. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
If you guys go to the description right now, I do have his Cash App drop. So if you guys want to show him some birthday love on the Cash App, it is in the description. I'm also going to post that right now in the chat for you guys. There you go. I'm going to post it 3 times for you guys. No problem, man. All right, go ahead, brother.
Shout out to the young governor, man. So this is the thing, and this is why I would push back slightly, because the context that I would normally agree with you in that aspect. And then I think last night we was even talking about people buying out sections and stuff like that.
Right.
I would strongly the pushback that I would have, and especially in the way that you laid it out, bro. Hey man, whatever. I'm gonna get skewed, whatever. Man, a lot of what I see with these young bloods, they doing it for each other, man. They ain't doing that to get the attention of a female. Look, let me tell you something. Real spill. The first time I seen Sosa get on, right? Every video that I seen, I was like, where the females? They be shirtless in their videos, all hugged up on each other, about to kiss one another, right? I think about Boondocks, homies over hoes, do the home. Like, it's not for, to me.
What?
Head up. It's not, I don't think, hey, bro, I think it's a deeper dive, but I don't think they doing it for females like that no more, man. I think they doing it to impress each other. And I'm not saying like if they leaning towards a particular lifestyle, like, you know, shout out to the alphabet community, because I'm not saying that it ain't no issues with that, but it do seem like a lot of times they do it to impress their guy rather than impress the female.
Right. And the thing is, I wouldn't disagree with that. I just feel like it's more people doing it for women than doing it for their guy. But I definitely see what you're saying. And in terms of that, like if you look in a lot of these dudes sections, it's 12 dudes, 2 bottles, no women. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you're right, but at the same time, those 12 dudes in that bottle, they still trying to pull something for the night. They still trying to impress women. So I think both parts play a role. But you definitely right about that. I ain't gonna lie. You right about that one, bro.
All right, so we got a 1-1 tie right now. Well, not tie, but we got a Trill 1, Rilla 1. Let's see if we can break this up and see. Humble Dad, let me get your opinion on it. How much influence does a woman have over a man's behavior?
Well, I would say it's a lot. If I had to put a percentage on it, I would say somewhere about 75%, because we go back to who we was raised by. And oftentimes we were raised by a woman. And so the things that she's kind of instilled in us kind of dictate how we view women and how we should approach women and how we should talk to women. So I would say currently it's a lot. And then to, you know, kind of echo, I don't like to echo, you know, I like to debate sometimes, but the gentlemen that have already spoken kind of clarified it clearly that we're, you know, in the culture that we're in, we're doing it because we want to impress somebody else, as opposed to setting our own goals and our own standards and trying to reach those goals and those standards. And but overall, I would say that 75% is influenced by women.
75%. Okay. Shannon, how much influence does women have over a man's behavior?
You said it was a tie, right? It was between Rilla and Trill.
No, it's not a tie.
It was a tie, and then Humble Dad came in and was like, I think Humble Dad's siding with Trill. You know, he said 75%, so he's saying majority reason.
Saying majority.
Yeah. The reality is Trill is right. Rilla, Trill is absolutely right, and it's more than 75%.
Oh,
listen,
really?
The does anybody know the history of the cheerleader?
I don't.
Has anybody ever? I mean, we all know what a cheerleader is. You know, high school cheerleader, pom poms.
Yeah,
but do we know the history? We know the history of cheerleading. See, cheerleading started in the 1800s, late 1890s, and it was predominantly men. It was only men, actually, right? And I forget the guy's name, but sometime in the 1890s, there was a guy that ran out during a football game because the football was becoming popular at the time, and a guy ran out on the field, and he was so excited, and he started cheering the crowd on. See, the cheerleaders was all about the crowd originally, right? And so that's like the birth of cheerleading in the late 1890s. And it was men only for 40 years. And then sometime around the 1920s, the University of Minnesota started letting women do it. But women didn't take over. It was still men until World War II. And during World War II, it was a lack of men in America because all the guys was going off to the war. And so who was to do the cheerleading? So they started using women. The thing is, it never went back to men. It ended up being women only. But why? How come for the first 40 to 50 years of cheerleading, was it men? And then when it switched to women and once the war was over, why didn't it go back to men? Because they noticed something different. Not only was the crowd being excited, what the men did for the first 40 years, they noticed that the players started playing differently. They noticed that the players started playing differently when the women were the cheerleaders. And so what happened was, and so you asked about the influence of a woman over a man. What happened was men started making more touchdowns quarterbacks started throwing further passes because they were dating those cheerleaders that they were looking over at the sidelines. And the next thing you know, the skirts that used to be ankle length long started becoming shorter and shorter. The clothes became tighter and tighter. And they used sexual desires to influence the players to play a better game. And as we all know, that, seldomly does a man before the age of 40 succeed abundantly in anything. And the reason why is because young men tend to dissipate their energy based on their sexual desire for women. Young men, remember I told you guys before, there's 10 mind stimuli. There's 8 of them that are constructive and 2 are destructive. The number 1 is the desire for sexual expression. Young men want the approval of women, even though Chicago Rilla, I know you think that they're doing it for themselves. They're doing it for their boys. They know that women is going to see it somehow, some way, especially through social media. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, most of everything that men do on this planet, they do it for their women. Most everything that a husband does, he does for the approval of his wife and his children. Most all of our aggression is about behind the women. I know too many homies that's in jail. I know some friends that are dead. I have a friend that shot himself in the chest over his woman. A lot of the things that we do is for our women. Unfortunately, women influence men heavily, even in YouTube streets. Sometimes you'll see these arguments. It's really sad, because I get it. Bros before hoes, you know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Fuck these bitches. I get that. I understand all the ego, what's the word? Trill, give it to me. Machino.
Oh, machismo.
Machismo. I tried to say it last week. I couldn't get it. Trill fixed me up. I get it. We tough, right? But you'll even see sometimes arguments that's happening here on YouTube, and it'll be a woman in the chat pushing on somebody and on her team or whatever. And then that guy see it, and suddenly he got a battery in his back. It's like women can wind a man up to do something out of character against another man. And it's weird to see, but it happens nonetheless. So yeah, it's a little bit higher than 75%. I hear what you're saying, my man, Humble Dad, but I think it's higher than 75%.
I mean, that's fair. I just wanted to put a number to it. Most
you trying to be nice. You being nice.
Well, I wasn't trying to be nice. I was just trying to put a number to it. I had a question though, Shannon. What made you read that book about cheerleading?
I didn't read a book. I learned about it because I played football, but I taught that too. I explained that to my young fraternity brothers in college. They wanted to know what was the purpose of having sororities. And so back in the day, because we have a thing in my fraternity called the Kappa League, right? And what we do is we train young high school students to kind of mature into manhood, go into college. And then if they decide to join a fraternity, we prefer them to join our fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi. So I tend to teach my young neophytes about becoming men. That's really where I started all my stuff. And some guys was wondering, we had a conversation one time about sororities and fraternities. And I said, well, let me explain to you the history of sororities. I can give you that. But then also before that, let me give you guys the history of why there are cheerleaders that cheer on boys in football. And so I used to teach that then. So I just brought that same story over here and what causes them to do what they do and how to play harder. And how they need to focus on certain things and not focus on sex. Because a lot of the guys in my fraternity, the young guys, they want to have sex. They want to party. They want to smash. They want to knock down the girls on the campus. I went to Cal State Long Beach. I deal with my boys over at USC and UCLA. And I try to get them, hey, man, don't lose your career over women and over these cheerleaders. And so the whole cheerleader story came from me teaching young fraternity brothers of mine about the perils of smashing the cheerleader who can ruin your entire NFL career.
Ricky Williams.
What's happening?
Talk to us, man. How much influence do women have over a man's behavior?
If I had to put a number on it, 99.9999999.
That's about right. You might be missing a 9.
Yeah, if we keeping it a bean, right? I mean, I appreciate both views, right? If you think about it, in the community, the mother is the first teacher of the child, right? Men or women, right? Where do you get your your views from your parents. You know what I'm saying? That's imbued into you. But I also believe, again, this is just my personal opinion, ladies and gentlemen, might change your life. It might not, right? But I think as a man and a woman, as a man and a woman on this planet, the ultimate goal is to reproduce, right? So everybody talk about the bag, they talking about status, all that stuff a man does throughout his life, working long hours, slaving, doing what he got to do to get it. It's so when he meet that woman that hit the woman he want, right? That his stuff's together, that he got the package that she gonna roll for, right? Let's not put into the other stuff, you know, having her move on your program. I'm talking about the stuff to attract the one you want, right? So if you're trying to hit, everything you doing is for a female at the end of the day, right? How you get about it, you know, that's different, but that's really what it's about. Oh, you pulling up in a shiny, you got that new S6, my guy. You know what I'm saying? That's so when you roll up in the club, that Judy with the booty, you know what I'm saying? She see you, right?
If she wanted, and you know you stunting in the parking lot.
Come on, boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my boy Trill, he got on the gold watch. That's so, you know, he got a white, but when he was doing this thing so that she could see the shimmer and the light. Right? You gotta have your two.
Don't put the watch down, Trill. Don't put it down. You know
right?
Let it shine.
That's what it's for, ladies and gentlemen. Right? And that's why I put a lot of responsibility on the ladies when your man ain't moving right. Right? He saw something in you, right? He saw something in you to holler at you, right? That's where the whole game start, right? He saw something in you to holler at you. And from what you saw, right, he had enough to bag you. You choosing. Right? But I digress.
Man, it's kind of interesting. Shan, I couldn't really tell if you was agreeing or if you was disagreeing for a moment there when you was speaking. Like, were you on with Ricky? You was agreeing the whole everything?
The only thing I disagree with Ricky is that he missed the 9. It's a little bit. It's 99.9999999. He forgot a 9.
I apologize.
There you go. Man, that's kind of interesting take, man. I like that, man. I like that. So to kind of sum it all up, most of the men on the panel agreed that men move for the woman. So there isn't any possibility that men can move just because they like something.
Oh yeah,
I think it's a possibility, but it's a very small one, and it's a very small select few of men. I think that's in the minority. We was talking to JB about that the other day. How his mind works in terms of, okay, I want to accomplish things just for me. I want to do my background research just for me and just for me. Like, most men don't move like that. Most men, if you look to the root of what their motivation is, it's a woman in some form. Whether it's a girl they like, whether it's their mama, whether it's a woman in some form that's pushing him to go hard. You see these athletes when they get drafted to the league, first thing they say, man, I get my first check, I'm buying my mama a house. That's the first thing they say. You know what I'm saying? Or if they got, you know, a wife or whatever, like that's the motivation. If it was just men, and again, if women didn't care about men being broke, most men would be broke. Most men wouldn't, and not only broke, but wouldn't aspire to go get more money. That's just reality. But there are some dudes that are just about their bread, so it don't matter. Like, I like nice things, whatever. I got a certain lifestyle I want to live, so I'm gonna go get it regardless. But most dudes don't think like that. And 9 out of 10, like, it's a woman that gave him that kick in the ass, whether she called him broke one time or whether he was at the club and this dude pulled up in that M6, like, you know what I'm saying, Ricky talking about, and he looking like, damn, all the girls going to him. Oh man, I got to get my bread up. I got to go back to the drawing board. I'm tripping. And that's the motivation, bro. But yeah, it's a small minority that just do it just because I like it, or I like nice things, or that's because I want to do. It's a small minority, bro.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I would say that that's how most men move, but not all men. I do think there's some men out there, for the most part, that just move to their own beat. You know, they just like what they like and they just enjoy it. But now that I look around, I can't even.
Lapeef, even those guys, bro, they move in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. So even the 1%, you know what I'm saying? The 1 percentile, the ones, you know, a high value man, as people like to say, right? They move in a certain way so they can have that choice of the female they want. right? When it all come down to the diggy, that's really what it's about, bro. Like this what people really got. It's all a numbers game. You know what I'm saying? It's about putting your numbers out there and getting something back for the world from that woman. That's children. I think that's the end game for everybody, right? Everything we do in this society is built around sex. When it comes down to it, whether it's money, fashion, music, whatever, right? It all that stuff we take a part in, right? That's commercialized and commerce in this world, right? Comes down to making the mating of two people happen, right? So no matter what, you know what I'm saying, you want to have the minimum check boxes checked. So when she roll up on you or you roll up on her, that she choosing, right? That she choosing, right? Again, our job is to attract the opposite sex, right? And if I could tie this into as far as the way men are nowadays, the majority of them been raised by their mamas, right? And 9 times out of 10, their mamas didn't know what a man was in the first place, so they can't imbue that into their son. Let alone you should have a father there to imbue that into that male child, right? So whose fault is it at the end of the day when you're getting all these skinny G wearing dudes who don't want to step up to the plate and put the world on their shoulders for their family, right? Women, y'all raised them. Y'all raised them, right?
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just curious. Is there a difference between influence and inspire? Because influence sounds, well, when I'm hearing it, it sounds like a lot of control that they have over us.
They do.
That's fine, but that's why I'm asking: is it a difference between influence and inspire?
Well, that's the scary part, though, right? The influence and the inspiration. We all want an inspirational woman. You want a woman that's going to inspire you to do better and be better and go further and whatnot. And then you have the woman that wants to influence, and that's where it could be a slippery slope, where you got somebody who's pushing you and is upset with you, and a woman that can emasculate you if you're not doing what she thinks that you should do. Nevertheless, the power is there. Here, let me read this to you guys real quick. Man has the same desire to please women that he had before the dawn of civilization. Before we was out hunting and killing bears and shit, bringing home food. The only thing that's changed is the method of how men please women. We don't have to go out and do that kind of stuff. Now it's about money and gifts and things like that. Men who accumulate large fortunes, men who get a lot of money, get the bag and attain great heights and power, they do so to satisfy the desire of women. Take women out of our lives, take women out of a man's life, and great wealth would be useless to most men. It is this inherent desire of men to please women which gives women the power to make or break a man. It's because we do so much and want to do so many things for women that we actually are transferring power to them that can make or break us. And most men will not. And this is what's interesting about what JR just said. He's like, I believe that it happens, but not too many men. I know some that's not the case. They just do it for themselves. I get it. But I think that's most men will not admit that they are easily influenced by the women they prefer, because it is the nature of the man to want to be recognized as the stronger of the species. Moreover, the intelligent woman recognizes this manly trait and very wisely makes no issue of it. Some men know that they are being influenced, not inspired, but influenced by the women of their choice, their wives, their sweethearts, their mothers, their sisters, but they tactfully refrain from rebelling against the influence because they are intelligent enough to know no man is happy or complete without the modifying influence of the right woman. So that while there's men out there that claim, man, I ain't doing it for no, man, fuck these, man, I don't care about these, man, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing this for me. Remove women from his life completely. Television, social media, neighborhood, put him out in the middle of nowhere and see how motivating he is to get the bag then. See how bad he wants to do it just for himself if he was all isolated all by himself.
But see, this is I literally been listening to y'all, fam. And let me ask this just as a clarifying question, because I think I'm understanding the question, how much influence. Now we're saying 99% of what all men do, regardless of age, they do that under the influence for the approval of women. This is what we're saying now, right?
Well, I gave a different percentage, but yeah.
Yeah. And what I clarified, what I was saying, respectfully, gentlemen, I said, I think today's gentlemen, women have little influence on them. And I know we could say like Jonathan is an outlier, but we literally, even Trill, with your example, when we was talking about the sections last night, he literally said, like, I'm competing with the next. They bought 2, I'm gonna buy 3. They did this, I'm gonna do that. They wasn't doing that to compete against women. And what I'm saying is, like, for real, I'm not thinking about my age group. I know what my age group did for women. That 99% sounds right. That baby face, as soon as I get home from work, that sounds right. That sounds like a man that's influenced. You know what I'm saying? His behavior is influenced by Tracy. That's what that sounds like, right? But when I look at these young bloods, I'm listening to them intently, because somewhere between them being born and them growing up, like, we dropped the ball, and I'm trying to recapture that. Like, where did we miss it? Where did we make it? So when I listen to them and I understand and I peep what they saying, when I listen to their music, I'm sorry, gentlemen, I don't think that number's that high. I don't think I get it. We could, I'm sure we bore down to, even down to their mama or the grandmas. They do what they do for their mamas and their grandmas, but I don't think that's ultimately what we talking about. I think what we talking about is for the approval of one. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe JR didn't mean the question like this. I'm thinking we talking about for the approval of women in a romantic setting. In other words, I'm trying to pair bond with a woman. How much of that woman influences my behavior? Not me trying to do something to get the approval of my mom, not me trying to do something to get the approval of my grandma or the matriarch in my life, but to pair bond with another woman. And when I think about these young bloods, at least just in my interaction, and they could be anecdotal, I could be off because I ain't researched it, I ain't got numbers to prove it. I'm just saying, I see the tide turning. I don't think that number is high as 99%. It may be close to 75, but I don't know, man.
This is why I would say that it's close to what they're talking about, is because even if we use JB as the example, he's trying to, oh man,
get married. He's doing it for women too. JB is not an outlier. That's YouTube talk.
Yeah, but we talking about how much does that woman? We saying how much? We trying to put a number on it, gentlemen.
But
we saying how much?
Rilla, let's go back to that example you use in the club. You're right. Men are competing with each other in terms of who can buy the most bottles. But why are they competing? What are they competing for?
Mm-hmm.
For superiority. And why are we competing for superiority? Because that's going to get us adorned. That's going to get us the most adoration, praise. Once I win, women want winners, which is why you'll have dudes in the weight room. We might be lifting and competing with each other, but let 2 or 3 fine women walk by. You're going to see totally different. Hey, man, put another plate on there, man. You're going to see shirts start coming off and all kind of shit going on. Again, we do like to compete with each other. But the reason we like to compete is because superiority gets you women. It's been that way since the beginning of time to now. Whoever got the most money, sure, we are competing with each other in terms of getting money. But why? That's what you got to ask yourself. And it all roots back to women.
Take women out of your lives, and great wealth will be useless to most men.
That's real.
And to speak on today's younger generation, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that they not moving for the approval of women. It's just the standards are lower.
Here we go. Go ahead. Get that bag. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
It's just the standards are lower, right? They, again, like you said, as soon as I get home from work, you know what I'm saying? Baby face, you name it. Christopher Williams, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? We had a different approach. You know what I'm saying?
Light skin brother.
You know what I'm saying? Curly hair, hat to the back, right? You know what I'm saying? So we had to move a certain way. You know what I'm saying? This is why I keep saying the game don't change, only the players. You see what I'm saying? It's all a game to get the girl you want, to bag the right girl. You know what I'm saying? The right one for you, supposedly, right? So back then, you had to take a girl out on dates, my guy. You had to have your bag. You had to have a whip to get across Chi-Town. Chi-Town stand up, South Side all day. You know what I'm saying? You had to do that. But now, right? A guy ain't gotta put himself out there like that to bag a thick one. You know what I'm saying? He don't. Right? She'll send him an Uber, you know what I'm saying, for a 3 o'clock butt call. Y'all know how it go. Right?
It's a fact.
So no matter what, it's still to get that hit. A dude's still moving to get that hit. But what women need to understand, y'all set the standard. Y'all did this.
Now that part I agree with.
Hey, real quick, another point that we're not covering, right? And was probably the most important point. We talking about building wealth and things like that. What's the number one thing men are willing to throw it all away for? That right there tell you everything you need to know. You got dudes up B's and willing to throw it all away for the approval of a woman, an outside woman, or whatever the case may be. Like if you got, again, dudes willing to die rather than be embarrassed in front of a woman.
Bruh.
If it's just men in the room and a fight happen, whatever, that's gonna go a whole lot different than if it's half the room is women and a fight happen and you lose a fight.
Energy way different, bro. Way different.
So it's like again, you got to ask yourself what's the number one thing men are willing to throw it all away for, and that'll answer this question for you.
No, let me redirect it like this then, because I'm looking at the percentage and I'm literally thinking real time about my interactions with these girls, and I still hold and I'll probably, it's gonna sit with me probably till Thursday. This question alone is probably gonna sit with me till Thursday. Right. But I think ultimately, because what you guys are saying is correct. I'm not disagreeing with that. And so I do think the message needs to be maybe redirected in terms of what you guys are saying. I'm just telling you, for me, for my observable eye and what I see, because I could even concede the point that a lot of the shootings that happen is based on frivolous, like Instagram arguments. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you said something on IG. You said something about my girl. You said something about this, said something about that. Boom, now I'm finna wet the whole block up. Women, children, grandma, whoever they getting it to. So I could concede that point, right? But I'm just telling y'all from what I see, and this is gonna bother me till Thursday. I might speak on it Thursday too, so don't get mad in advance.
All right, so what's bothering you?
I'm really thinking about what the brothers are saying, and this is like, for me, it's a concern because I don't see young bloods that heavily invested like that. We saying 99% of the way these young bloods are moving today, across age, whatever, they doing it for the approval, or they're heavily influenced by women. I gotta sit with that for a minute.
And you ever seen? It's funny, we talked about my movie last week because I told you we do movie nights on Mondays. Last week we watched John Q. Last night we did a movie. We watched Good Will Hunting. You ever seen that movie Good Will Hunting? Chicago?
I didn't watch that all the way through, but go ahead.
Oh, you gotta watch. This
is with Matt Damon and Robin Williams, right?
Yep, Matt Damon, Robin Williams, Ben Affleck. I don't want to spoil it, but the end of the movie, the key phrase at the end of the movie is, "I gotta go see about a girl." Now, just watch the movie. In fact, I think I can gift it to you. So I'm gonna gift it to you so you can watch it online.
Hey, go watch that. Go watch Carlito's Way. Go watch American Gangster. Go watch Scarface. Go watch all the movies, and then it's gonna be a common denominator as to why all of them fail.
I'm not but gentlemen, this is what I'm saying. See, what I keep coming back to is this generation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about.
No, we haven't. I mean, I get you. You're saying this generation right here. I see what you're saying, Shannon. In the 70s and the 80s, I know what the Shy-Lights was singing about, brother. I know the Temptations, and I know what the Gap Band was talking about. I got you. But today, the kids ain't moving like that. Now, we haven't evolved that far. Humans haven't evolved that far from matters of the heart. Our methods have changed. I get it. I understand what you're saying. Our methods have changed, but men still want to procreate. Men still want children. Sexual transmuting of sexual desires is still it's a natural thing. It's nothing we can do about it. It's still part of our DNA. So even though you see how they moving and the shit they talk about and them balling and them playing PS5 is more important than all that, they taking all that, remove women out of the equation and you'll realize quickly that a lot of that shit all falls by the wayside.
And
it's
on
just
top of that,
people are able to fake it a lot easier today than before.
yeah, and again, just like what Ricky was saying earlier, women are to blame for a lot of dudes that are underachieving these days. Because again, just like Rilla was saying back in the day, which is 100% fact, you had to actually work and accomplish things to impress women or to get women back in the day. But now I can be a bum and I could be lit on social media and I have 20 women in my DMs ready to do whatever. So it's like, what is the motivation to go out there and get money? And that's why you got a lot of dudes that are out here underachieving, because it's still 10 to 20 women that's willing to give him sex in his current situation. So why go out there and get me a good job? Why go out there and, solidify my financial future, give me a nice car? So the same way that women will motivate you to do something great, they'll cripple you too. That's why I say so. Women's influence is very important in terms of, especially with underachievement, which is why I feel like platforms like this is so essential, because we're working to change that. We're working to get dudes moving on your moral code. You set your moral code, no outside influences, focus on what you got to accomplish. And we're trying to push that message compared to what's going on today, which is dudes literally bending and, at the will of what these women, with a lot of them with no substance, want. And, you got dudes out here down bad because of it, bro.
And no matter what, right? Even the way Trill, shout out to you, man. What you just said, trying to build fellas up to get their game going, right? So you to be a better version of yourself. So when you meet the one, she can get on your program and you can move with her as you. It's all about getting them buns, guys. It's all about getting them buns. Stop. You just making the buns is attached to the right one. You gotta choose correctly. But it's all about getting them buns. Buntastic. Bunalicious. Come on, man.
There you go. If you guys are just tuning in, welcome to King Talk on the Lapeef Network. Make sure you guys hit that like button right now. Also subscribe to the channel. I see we got a new member. Shout out to UT Will. Shout out to the super chat. Let's Talk the Better Black. Also the Wealthy Broke Man and Andrew Dixon. Thank you for the super chat. Mods, make sure you continue to moderate that chat. Make sure we keep the dusties out, as Anton says. And let's move on to our next topic. Shout out to Tej Hanley, the sponsor of the show. I do have that link pinned to the top, so make sure you guys click that link and get you some Tej Hanley. Next topic. Y'all good?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to make sure. Church say amen.
Amen. We all ears.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. The code of conduct amongst men.
Oh,
the code
man.
of conduct
Oh,
amongst men.
Oh, man.
Does a code
Does
a code of conduct exist? Let's start off there. Does it exist right now? Trill?
It's supposed to. It's supposed to exist. But do men actually abide by it like we should? Hell no. And that's the problem. Men abide by this quote unquote code when it's convenient for us to abide by this quote unquote code, but we don't do it in everyday life. And that's a lot of the reason why, you got dudes out here selling their mans out for women, doing foul stuff for money, breaking loyalty, different things like that. Like morals that should never be bent, should never be broken. Dudes out here doing it according to convenience. But again, there should be a code. There should be an unspoken code in terms of how men are supposed to move, how we carry ourselves around women, how we carry ourselves with our bread, like what we prioritize as being most important. There should be an unspoken code that we all understand. But, that's just not the case in terms of men actually abiding by it. And we need to do something about that if we're going to advance as a society.
If you had to guess some of the things that was within this code of conduct, what would you say it is? Man,
again, like not selling your man out for no money, not selling your man out for no women, being, moving, standing on your word, your word actually meaning something. If I tell my man I'm gonna do something, or if I tell anybody I'm gonna do something, like I gotta die before that doesn't happen. Like that type of thing. Just being a man of integrity, being a man that, you know, that can be respected. You can hold your head high in any type of environment because you ain't never snaked nobody. Your resume is solid. Can't nobody point to the old AC snaked me. He filed me this way. He did this. He did that. Like resume is super important to me, and I done lost friendships because of it. Raising our kids is a main one that I talk about a lot. Man code, like ain't nobody gonna get between me raising my kids. I don't care how many times I got to go to court. That's just what being a man is. That's cold. But instead of that, you got dudes out here hanging with dudes that don't take care of their kids, or hanging with dudes that's just getting finessed out of their money by women and just breaking all kind of loyalty codes. So, like if I'm thinking code again, it's about integrity. It's about, you know, prioritizing the right things as men and standing on what it is to be a man. And a lot of dudes in this era are just not cut like that, and we got to change that.
All right, Ricky Williams, we're talking about the code of conduct amongst men. Does it exist? And if you could describe to me in your words what that code of conduct looks like.
It exists amongst men, not males.
That's nice.
You know what I'm saying? It exists among men. You know what I'm saying? I got a saying I like to use. There's no politics needed amongst honorable men. There is no politics needed. An honorable man gonna tell you what it is. This is it. I'm not gonna make promises I can't keep. Right? If I say something and I can't make it happen, I man up like a man. Hey, I can't make this happen. Right? But a lot of these guys nowadays so emotional, right? So emotional and just not emotionally equipped to deal with the truth. Right? To deal with the truth. That's why I hate the saying my truth. That's such a ain't what you talking about, Joe truth, my guy. It's a truth and a lie.
Men say that shit. I hear women say that. I don't know.
Bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. Right? It shouldn't be hard to be solid. Right? It's just doing what you said you was gonna do. So it's easy. And I'm like Trill on this one. Be like, my cipher small like a Cheerio, but y'all don't hear me though.
Bars.
You know what I'm saying?
It's real rough.
Because if I'm investing in you, look, we all got a time clock. Your battery draining every day, bro. Right?
Look at Chicago. Chicago light up when you hear some rap.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you drain your battery draining every day, and nobody don't know when them lights go out. But I'm taking the time and energy to invest in you as my friend, as my man, and I can't get the same number. I'll cut you off at the knees, bro. I'll cut you off at the knees. Simply do what you said, and that's what people don't understand as far as our people as a nationality, as a nation, right? You can't let them the people that'll kill you from the inside, bro. Every bit of progress you make, they'll stab you in your back for it. You got to cut. We got to learn to separate the tares from the wheat. And the problem is that might be your man, right? That might be your pops. That might be your brother. That might be your nephew. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, ain't no politics needed amongst honorable men. It's what it is. We talk. If we got beef, we sort it out. And a lot of y'all don't understand privacy no more, man. Y'all don't understand privacy. You supposed to be having a beef with your man or your girl or whatever, and y'all business all out on the street. How you gonna get over something that everybody else know about? Men abide by a code. Males just that.
It's facts.
Man. This shit is crazy. You ever hear somebody speak and you just like, you get them chills, like, damn, this motherfucker nailing it. That was a sermon. Y'all thought I opened it up on that church, man.
No
Ricky
cut,
took us to
no
church.
chaser. That's real.
And
Bars.
I say this, y'all, because I've been through life. I know I don't look it, but I'm 48 years old, my people. You know what I'm saying? I didn't lost friends. I didn't lost people that I thought was friends that ate at my table. right? That know my mama, that hug my mama and call my mama mama. Right? That's why I tell people, and I know this is gonna go on a bit of a rant. I apologize, guys, but when I say when people be like, you know what, forget it. We'll talk about it another day.
Man,
We'll talk about it another day.
you got it.
Nah,
on,
man.
Ricky.
I'm
How
good,
you
bro.
gonna set us up like that,
Go
Rick?
ahead, bro. Go
Dude,
ahead.
how you set up
like,
and
I'm
then
sitting there
set it up?
waiting.
Bro, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's like,
please.
man, I just don't get it, bro. Like I say all the time, people be like, how you cut that person off? Because, bro, right? Because
They cut your bitch off.
you know what I'm saying? Y'all let people that y'all know toxic in y'all life, right? Y'all let them do it, and then get mad when them people do exactly what you said they was gonna do. I can't believe they did me like that. They just did you like that 6 months ago.
Scorpion and the frog.
But then you mad. You want to complain about it, but don't make no changes. Everything start with you. That's what our people need to learn to understand. Everything start with you. Stop blaming people. Ain't no victims in this world. We all here. Sometimes your family is the most toxic relationships you have in your family. Y'all got to remember 9 times out of 10, your mom and daddy didn't know what was up. They didn't know what was popping. They ain't had no emotional intelligence. They ain't get no therapy for the stuff they did their best. Right? But when you become an adult, that's when you're responsible for your own change. But some people they can't grow past their trauma, dog. Can't grow past their trauma, right? You're a grown man with all this money and making moves, right? But you got the mentality and emotional intelligence of a 12-year-old. You got to fix you. It ain't nobody's fault. It ain't nobody's fault. Once you become responsible for yourself, you got to fix you. How hard is it to say what to do? And if you can't do it, guess what, my guy? Just say it. I ain't going to do it. I can't do that. Look how easy that is. But y'all know what it is, man. Come on, man. Come on.
Hey, Ricky.
Preaching.
All right, Shan. Code of conduct amongst men. Does it exist, and what does that look like?
Well, I mean, okay, so there's a sisterhood, but there's not really a brotherhood. You know, there's a sister. We talk about man code. Oh man, well, that's man code number 304. You broke the man code. But nobody really can say they know they got a man code manual. Nobody can really print it out. You know, you think about America, there's the Constitution, there's the Declaration of Independence, there's the Bill of Rights, there's the amendments. But in the Black community, Black men, we're fragmented. So like Ricky is saying, there is, but it's so many different versions. It's so many different versions of the code of conduct for men, because the dudes in New York's code of conduct is different than the niggas in LA, who's different than Chicago. And then when you get in LA, the ones from the Valley is different than the ones in Los Angeles, who's different than Long Beach and Compton. And then you got the ones who's bourgeois, and then you got the ones from the street. So it's so many different versions in the Black community. And that's why when you look at people like the Nation of Islam, who there's a strict code of conduct for all members. You know, when you look at the Christian-based faith, it's like all over the place. You got pastors that preach one thing at their church, and another church preaches something completely different. It's just, we have codes of conduct, but it's so many different versions, and we're so broken up that damn near it's almost sex and gangs, almost fighting against each other. And so I think what Trill is saying is we need to have one, and I think we're on the path to get one. And maybe this little, you know, they call it the manosphere, right? They call it red pill. They call it black manosphere. They call it the dating streets. Let's just call it the YouTube streets. Maybe we're starting here. Maybe 10 years from now, in the year 2032, that we may get a little somewhere, because pioneers like the Lapeef Network sparked something about men getting together and having king talk. And then with mine, with Ask a Black Man Anything, sparked something. And it was just these small pockets of people back in 2021. They just started to have these conversations. And 10 years later, it spawned into this global code of conduct that all Black American, we'll say ADOS men, started abiding by. And they started teaching their young guys to follow that particular code because it worked out for them. We have them, like Ricky's saying, but there's so many different versions, man. And everybody knows it because you can talk to you got different friends. Some of us have to live. Some of them got different friends within the same family. It's like, well, my uncle say this, but my father says that. So America has a constitution. My fraternity has a constitution in the way we have a code of conduct in Kappa, who's different than the other fraternities. And then the brothers in Texas have a different code of conduct than brothers in Florida, in Miami, versus Atlanta, versus Los Angeles. Once we all get on the same sheet of music and start teaching, and we know the basics, right? Don't talk, like Ricky said, discretion. It's like, damn, what's up with all this pillow talk? Why you just running off at the mouth? There's some basic shit that all of us should have. There should be a common denominator amongst all of them. But we need to just kind of create one. We don't have one, in my opinion, in the Black community for Black men. A code of conduct, a universal one? No, not yet.
Yeah, I think we probably need to try to figure out something like it, something we can put out there. So I think the brothers that's listening, definitely taking notes of what you guys are saying. Humble Dad, coming to you next. Talking about the code of conduct amongst men. Does it exist? And how does that look to you?
I don't think it exists universally, but if you look at within your circle, you all have a code of conduct, and based on who you run with determines what your code of conduct is. For me, the people I run with look to the Bible to be, our standard. In some other places, they may look to the Quran. It just all depends on what your circle is. But as a universal, I would say no. And so some of the things that I would add to the code of conduct, which dudes be having trouble with, is the sex marketplace. Like dudes be smashing any type of chick, right? And so the chick thinks because this dude that's an 8 smashed her, that's a 4, she thinks her value is increased based on him, right? So if you would, as we talk about, have big discipline, right, then that changes. That's a part of the code of conduct. I remember putting up this post before, and dudes got at me. They was like, "Dude, that's not realistic. What I'm gonna do? You know what I'm saying? How I'm gonna do this? It's similar to a call that we had before, but I had it on a conversation on the chat, and I was like, do you not realize that women, they have sex with individuals that they find attractive, right? Dudes have sex with most oftentimes with whoever will, is available during that particular night if they're, if they're on the roll or whatever. And so because of that, then the woman thinks that she is more attractive than she actually is, right? And then so that means that some of the other guys won't even get that opportunity later. Then the other thing I would say is to know how to accept accountability. That'd be one of the second things I would put on code of conduct, because if you say you're going to do something, like I think Ricky and a couple other people said, you need to do it. And if you're unable to do it, then you need to let it be known that you can't. And if you make a mistake while doing it, then the third thing you need to do is to apologize. I didn't do that right. Like for me, my internet keep messing up. I have no idea what that is. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's my bad, but it's not. I mean, I don't have control of it over the internet, but it is an issue when we're trying to run a show, right? And so I'm saying that there is not one universally, but I think this is a very good starting point where we are. And I would like to ask the gentleman, what are some of the things that you would add, or do you disagree with any things that I listed?
I would say that last one, though, is probably, I agree with you that we don't have a universal one. And that it's, like I said, it's a bunch of different ones. But I think that last one is pretty much on every body's version of their code of conduct within their circle. You don't think so?
Which
accountability, because I believe that men hold themselves accountable from boyhood. I think I believe that men teach young boys growing into their manhood about owning up, stepping up, being a man, stick your chest out, shoulders back, and being accountable. You don't think that that's generally the case across the nation?
No, I was a teacher for
Raised by
11
men.
years.
I'm talking about men
Oh,
raised by men, not by women. I'm not.
You changed the context. Okay, my bad.
I did. I had to remove the woman out. I'm talking about men being taught by men.
Well, that's a very small percentage, but I would say
Yeah,
yes.
I know.
You know what I mean? That's a very small percentage. So I would say yes if a man is in the household, and I'm a single dad now, but I operate pretty much the same, and that's I'm looking towards my kids are going to be somebody's spouse one day, right? And so I think with that in mind, right? Not everybody necessarily does that. So, but what's going on right now is that that they're not being raised by men, right? And that's why it's important for even as us as individuals, even though there's not a lot of dads in the house, for us to do this particular thing what we're doing because young dudes are listening to us. And so we can talk about the problems that we have all day, but these solutions would be very helpful for them to be able to implement something, now or in the near future. So I would say, hopefully I answered the question.
No,
I
you
got
did.
something I got something to add to it. If if you're not holding your boys accountable, then you are enabling their behavior. That needs to be a code. Because far too often it's a lot of, oh, well, that ain't my business, man. That's bro, whatever he doing, that ain't my business. It's a lot of that when that shouldn't be the case. Man, we gotta self-check men. We gotta hold each other accountable, just like the whole raising kids situation. And that's near and dear to my heart. Cause again, I lost a day one friend, sandbox friend. Just like, they said, sat on my mama couch, hugged my mama, like a dude that I thought was solid. We brought up the same way under the same circumstances. And he a deadbeat. And it's like, I can't have you around me. Like, we don't have nothing to talk about. If I can't look you in your eyes and respect who you are as a man from top to bottom, you cannot be around me.
But wait a minute, Trill.
Often,
It sounds like, okay, so are you saying that because did you abandon him?
No, I checked him first. Then the behavior continued, and then I removed him from my circle.
Okay, so here's my thing: what should the code of conduct say at that point? Once somebody don't want to listen, just let them go, or once somebody don't want to listen, we bring them closer, we bring them tighter, we get reinforcements. We don't just let them out and go, and then go out and damage other people.
But see, the issue with that is that I feel like trying to bring them closer, because at the end of the day, a grown man is going to do whatever a grown man wants to do. That's what it boils down to. But we can't enable it. We can't make it seem like it's okay, because it's a lot of dudes that are running in these circles that put their hands on women, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Dude beating this girl up every day, and everybody in the gang know it. But that ain't my business. I mean, bro, you wrong for that, but that ain't my business. No, that is your business, because you still got him around you. He's still around the gang, like, and y'all all are playing a part in enabling that. You know what I'm saying? If you allow it, we got to start disavowing and removing this type of stuff from the quote unquote circle, or from the quote unquote cool table. There's way too many dudes at the cool table that's in violation. Right. And that got to change. And I ain't my business. It ain't my business is not a good enough answer, especially when that's your boy. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we got to start with the people closest to us first, because a lot of us have a very different set of rules for the shit that we criticize outsiders for. Just like I said, we'll criticize the hell out of somebody for beating up a girl or whatever, but your homie do it and you silent with it. You don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or a dude out here taking his girl for granted, or whatever the case may be, or not raising his kids, or he's snaking somebody else. He may not be snaking nobody directly in the circle, but he's snaking somebody else. Fam, that's a character trait. That ain't nothing you just cut on and cut off. It's only a matter of time before he do it to us. So if we don't check that and remove that, we enabling that type of behavior.
But when you say remove that, you talking about remove that individual completely out of the circle.
Correct.
Okay, you're
completely out of the
And
yeah.
is
you going?
At what point do you say we need to remove that person out of the circle, as opposed to remove that character trait out of his personality?
See, that's the thing. I don't think you can necessarily remove a character trait from a grown man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We talking about somebody
he is who he is.
Right. I mean, especially at our age, what we 30, 25, 40. That man is who he is. Gang. Like he could try to turn it off and act like it, whatever. But and you know what's wild about this type of shit? is that when you check them in person, they'll sit there and nod with you. Yeah, bro, you right. You right, bro. You right. And then when they leave your presence, go right back to doing the dumb shit that you just got on them for. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, a grown man is gonna do whatever he want to do. But I'm not going to enable that shit. You're not going to be seen in pictures with me and out at the club with me. Now that they thinking, oh, Trill he letting this dude raping women and he got him hanging in with. Nah, we not doing that. You
Violate,
get
Trill,
checked,
violate.
you gonna get checked, may get DP'd, and then you will be removed from anywhere in my vicinity. That type of behavior is just not allowed. If I can't look you in your eyes and see a man from top to bottom, I don't want you nowhere near me.
No,
That's
I
just
was
what
saying,
it is.
That's that accountability
watch
part,
that
Shannon.
R word. Watch that R word. We on probation now. We on probation.
Yeah,
Violate.
pardon me.
That's that accountability, Shannon.
Yeah.
You know, like a grown man don't need too many opportunities to get something right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if he knows, if you tell him, listen, what you're doing is not cool, and he continues to do it, then he's just said that he don't care about what you're saying.
Exactly.
And
Agreed.
then why would you want that individual in your circle anyway? And if he wants to be a part of the circle, then
He
he
grew
needs
up
to
with you
adjust
because he's your sandbox. Because he's your day one. He's because you don't know.
Me change. He had to see me change. He had to see something different about me because I'm not the same if I'm telling you that what you're doing ain't right. You know, I had a partner that's just like that. Like he was doing something behind his wife back. I was like, dude, bro, like that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. Like, what you doing? And I know, but it's hard. I was like, listen, it's hard. It's hard to do a lot of stuff, but it's a priority that you make it. You know, what is the value of your marriage to you? You know, so that means that I'm gonna have to limit my conversations, if not more. If it's family, you may have to do kind of move a little bit differently because it's your fam. But if it's your homie, you can definitely drop them. And if they want to be a part of the tribe, then they need to adjust because we moving in a different. We move into a different stratosphere, if you will. We trying to make things different for our community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of want. Yeah, I kind of want to say this, man. I'm listening to you guys, and I got this one guy, right? And he like the last one that's like somewhat close to me from since I was a youngin'. And I just talked to him. Hit me up, bro. How's things? Checking on you, seeing how everything is. And this was I think this was Christmas morning. Yeah, Christmas morning. And so I asked him like what he was doing. He said he was going to get up one of his guys. I said, oh, okay. In the back of my head, I'm thinking like, dude, I know you got like 2 or 3 kids. And over time, the excuse that he would give me all the time is that it's always like the baby mother. It's always the baby mother. And granted, I do know some women are spiteful, but I felt as though it was a lack of effort on his part to kind of force the situation. If you got a kid and your kid is a teenager and you still not seeing him, it's like, what have you been doing? What have you been trying to do? Have you been trying to go to court? I honestly know that he is somewhat irresponsible when it comes to his kids. And when I had them conversations, Trill is right. He get defensive. Bro. I don't tell you how to live your life, do I? It's always that. And so what I did was I had to adjust how I was talking to him, that I don't want to do it now, but I was just really trying to reach this brother like, dude, this is the way that you should move, man. I said, like, look at me. It's a lot of things that I have to adjust and change. We damn near knocking on 40, and you still doing the same stuff that you've been doing, the same stuff. He like, yeah. Like, you right, bro. You right.
Said this to him.
Yeah, this is what I said.
You said this to him Christmas. Okay.
No, I didn't say this Christmas. Some of the conversations Christmas, some of the conversations is just like throughout the time. Gotcha. I have this in myself. He's not the first person I call, but every now and then he call and check on me, or he say, bro, I just wanted to get up with you for a second. So, I kick it with him for a little bit, chop it up. If I need some help with something, I could kind of like depend on him if I'm not around. But other than that, it's just like, dude, like you just still not getting it. You still not getting it. And the conversation that we had on Christmas was about like relationships. And he said, bro, yeah, I'm just trying to find the right one, man. And, if I have a kid, I said, have a kid. I said, man, you're knocking on 40. I said, you shouldn't even be thinking about a kid. You got 2 or 3 kids. You got 2 or 3 kids. I said that kid is not gonna have a good life. Think about 20 years later. Okay, you got 9 months. She carried the child. And then 20 years from now, how old are you gonna be? You ain't gonna be able to run around with that kid. I said you that shit need to come out your mouth. You still trying to have kids. In the back of my head, I'm thinking like you ain't taking care of the kids that you got already. So it don't make sense, but I didn't go there with him. I'm thinking this in my head for the simple fact of what Trio said. And now that now we having this conversation, it's probably just not gonna make no sense to him because you will drain yourself and you get irritated and it'll become a little confrontation, not on your part, but on his part because he's getting so defensive about the way you critiquing his life.
Right.
So I'm learning something. Maybe I just need to just like remove it. Period.
Hey, like I said, man, just me. Like, if you not, I know it's cold. It's cold out in these streets, bro. It's cold out in these streets. But if you ain't about nothing, I don't need you around me. It's just that simple. It's gonna be cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's not no love loss. It's not no hate. Go eat at your table, bro. You just can't eat here. You just can't eat here.
Yo, shout out to JB for the $250. Appreciate that, JB. Thank you, brother. Means the world. Salute to you.
Yeah, that's real, man. And a lot of times, bro, some lessons, another thing I learned, some lessons life just got to teach people, bro. You could do all the talking in the world. You could talk to you blue in the face. Tell them, hey, bro, you should go this way. You should go that way. This is the blueprint to get what you need to be doing. And they'll sit there and they'll nod with you. Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. Yeah, you know what, man? I'm gonna go start that LLC. You know what, bro? I'm gonna go get in school. You know what? I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do that. And as soon as you leave, they're gonna go right back to doing what's comfortable because life ain't kicked them in the ass yet. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to distance yourself and let life kick them in the ass, and then they'll get it on the back end, come back around. Bro, you was right. You was right. But while you not moving that way, I cannot have you around me because that type of characteristic, those type of traits rub off on you. Even subconsciously, you get to moving like, okay, well, I mean, it's, my boy ain't really, he ain't really tripping or motivated to go super hard. So I can kind of take a day off here, there, different things like that. But just bad character traits, I don't want them nowhere near me because that type of shit is contagious, bro.
The thing is, he maybe life will kick him in the butt and he'll straighten up, or maybe life will put him in the ground or put him in jail. So here's my question, Trill. Did you guys see, since he was the day one, he was a sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the pattern happening at a young age? I get it at 30. The frontal lobe is already developed at 25. Mm-hmm. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. But, was it Frederick Douglass that said, let's teach the young because, it's easier to teach a young man than to try to repair a young boy than try to repair a broken man. So did you see traits that happen at a young age that maybe you guys were too young yourselves to even identify? And now you think back as an adult, damn, I did see that coming.
Yeah, and it was a key trait, bro. And this is what a lot of men suffer from. Like, the more I think back to when we was younger, we never really had real conversations about vulnerability, about real thing. Everything was a joke. Everything was, yeah, bro, what we going out? Or let's go get on these girls, or let's go do this. But it was never no serious, vulnerable type conversations that we was having. So it's like you know them because they're around all the time.
But you don't
really know them.
But you don't
until certain circumstances present themselves, and then they respond away, and it's like, oh, that's who you are. But because the situation never presented itself like that, you going along thinking, okay, because he next to me every day, he coming up the way I'm coming up, so he getting these lessons that all our OGs is giving us, and he nodding and yeah, bro, da da da, and again he up under me. So, and I always been a leader. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's doing things that I'm doing too. So I'm like, okay, he get it. He following my moves. Yeah, but then at some point, certain circumstances will present themselves, and that'll show you who that real person is. You can only fraud for so long, and that's what happened. So when it unfolded the way it unfolded, I ain't gonna go into too much detail. It caught me way off guard. But then immediately I started thinking back, like, damn, I never really knew him for real. And we was together since we was 7 years old, all the way up until he did that at 28. You know what I'm saying? So again, certain circumstances just got to present themselves. And if they don't, you will have a dude next to you that you swear solid. Swear. And that could be one situation, another situation. I done seen dudes grow up from the sandbox, be out and a fight break out. And he run, leave his homie.
Bro,
You know what
I
I'm
got
saying?
it,
Like
boy.
all stuff like that. And it's like, damn, but because we ain't never really been in that type of situation, I can never see that trait in you. I can never see nothing that would kind of allude to that. But when the situation came, it's like, damn, I can't believe he did that.
You know, and that's the thing, my guys, that you really don't know it until you in it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell people, I'll be like people talking about, I want to be happy, my friendship, you know, my relationship, everything should be hunky-dory. Then you ain't got no real relationship. I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You don't, because people, you learn what a person is when the times is bad, not when they're good.
Right.
I learned this at a young age, bro. A young age. You can have people there sit, but man, I had my friends I grew up with, Chicago. When I stayed in the Manor, friends, we spent the night over each other's house. Their mama took us to basketball games, vice versa, everything, bro, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when we was little. This is story time, right? When we was little, I ain't had no money. I was broke. My friend, he gave me his pair of Carmines. You know what I'm saying? The first pair of Jordans I ever had, right? But when it came down to it, we ended up getting to a fight, and I was neutral in Chicago. I didn't gangbang. I can't stand gangbangers. That's your thing. Knock yourself out. A man stand on his own accord, right? I don't need nobody to help fight nobody. You know what I'm saying? So growing up in the Manor, because I was a neutral, I would get jumped all the time. All the time.
That was a term. That was a Chicago term. A neutral.
Yeah,
neutron.
Right.
Shout out to all the neutrons and spares and the L7s.
Right. So look, these was my best friends. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Y'all hear my best friends. They didn't ate at my mama's house. They call mama. I call a mama. I get into it with this dude that I got a problem with. He folks. So of course I can't fight him by myself, right? I didn't already put hands on the kid so many times. Just happened when me and him about to get into it in this situation. Here come 3 of his people around the corner. My guys is with me. But because they was folks, they got to sit there and let me get this work. And not only that, listen. Did you hear what I said? Listen, right? Not only that, they got to come and put hands on me, because if they don't, they going to get violated.
Yep.
I learned this. I was like 15 years old. I learned this at an early age. Right? My shoulder's still bad because of that. Because I was giving them work, and he tripped me and my shoulder popped out. That's how they won the fight.
I remember my shoulder popped out.
Man, and I don't like, and my guy, this is like 10 years ago. He hit me up on Facebook, man, I want to apologize for that stuff. What? Right? This stuff molds you. It molds you, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it, right? Action, all that talk about what a guy would and do, and how your back, all that's bull, man. It don't matter until that rubber meet the road, my guy. Right? And at that time, it shouldn't be no second chances. Minor or big, because little stuff becoming the big stuff. Right? So little or big, you need to cut it off at the knees. Cut it off at the knees. The only reason you be scared to let that person go because that person doing something for you. What you getting out of that relationship?
Where's he at today, Ricky?
Don't know, don't care.
Shout out to all the neutrons. Shout out to all the neutrons.
I wish him the best. I wish him the best. We just can't rock.
As one said, everybody can't go. Everybody can't go.
Shout out to Nipsey.
All right, listen, real quick. Let me throw a boomerang because I haven't win. I wanted y'all to cook and I wanted y'all to saute this thing. When we talk about code of conduct amongst men, it's a lot of hoe studs out here too.
Oh, if you don't mind, is it cold?
It's a lot of hoe studs out here too, and it's a lot of men. When you talk about the universal code, shout out to you, Rick.
He got a plate. It ain't even Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
It's hot, baby. Be careful.
Then sealed it with a kiss. Yeah.
hey man, I'm really sitting up here thinking about this code of conduct, and even there's a code of conduct when you go in certain spaces. They talk about honor amongst thieves. I know it doesn't exist no more, but at one time it did. When I think about pieces of the code of conduct, I think about little simple frivolous stuff. I don't want to dig too deep in it, but I think about stuff like, because Jay, I think the second part of that, I think the second part what you was asking is like, what are some things that men shouldn't do, or what are some things that should be part of the code of conduct? For me, the number one thing would be integrity, and what will be at the top of my list is that I believe men shouldn't speak on other men if you ain't in their presence. If you ain't in their presence to have that conversation face to face and address whatever it is that you feel you have. And I'm saying it's for the young bloods because it's a lot of stuff that gets misconstrued behind the scenes. I'm gonna try and stay away because Ricky, I see where you from now, so I can't even talk my talk comfortably tonight, man. You out here throwing out my dictionary words, man. I can't use misguided and undecided or nothing. But I don't want these young bloods to be I don't want them to get it misconstrued and think that it's safe or it's cool, even on YouTube, to be out here like hurling insults and talking about men behind their back and all that. Like, that's not what we do as men. You got issues with me, handle it. Right? See me face to face. Or set up the FaceTime, set up a Zoom call. Let's talk about it. And once we iron out the details, man, hey, keep it pushing. Don't keep putting people's name in your mouth. Keep people's name out your mouth. Do your thing. Focus on what you got going on. Right? Don't ever get it misconstrued, man. That's not safe, young bloods. I know these airwaves, the fact that I'm in my mama's basement and I got the Oculus or whatever y'all into, the PS5s and all that, and to make it seem like, can't nobody reach out and touch you till somebody reach out and touch you. And I'm only saying that because I see that at the crib when you started talking about that, it made my mind shift because I see it at the crib all the time. The man is still jumping. It's still a Thunderdome in the manor. Them GDs still running dumb over there. And the east side is just, the further you go east, especially when you get down there on Escanaba, they just...
Yes. Wild over there.
Listen, one block here, one block here. I mean, one block over. That what I mean, Ricky. I grew up, fam. I went to school with you, man. We were just in grammar school together. We were just at CVS together. Right? And they get so emotional. Why? Because when you get behind this keyboard, everybody can talk tough. Everybody can talk about who they are, what they do, and then oh man, no, I was just saying. But I to keep it a bean, fam, I just think that's super. I think you sassy than a mug when you a man, you a grown man. And I mean, you invest so much time speaking on other men and what they doing. Now, fam, focus on what you doing. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, investing in yourself, investing in the people that love and care for you, invest in your community. Don't worry about what that man doing in his community. Don't worry about how he contributing. Nothing you do affect him. Nothing he does should affect you, right? But we see these situations where dudes get in these Wendy Williams conversations and be having whole dialogue like Chatty Patty and Messy Betty, like they some yes, boo. Sassy. Dead up, Trill.
Say, and on top of it, to add to it, the people that they talking about, the men that these type of people talking about, don't let them trick you out your spot, bro. These people are not built like that. So when you going back and forth with them, they winning. You already up right now. They down there. So if we going back and forth with each other now, you getting more eyes on them or more, attention on what it is that they got going, and you not gaining nothing from it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't let somebody trick you out of your spot, even if, you know, they got people threatening for meetups and I'm going to pull up here, I'm going to pull up there. These dudes is not cut like that. And that's one thing I done learned about social media. I had to learn that the hard way. But, you know, you dudes be saying something online, you catch them in person, they be the nicest person in the world. And then if you put hands on them or do something to them, first thing they're going to do is call police. They not cut like that. So don't get tricked out of your spot trying to stand on, you know, trying to, you know, press or you know, stick your chest out and prove something to the you ain't gonna prove nothing, bro. You're gonna end up losing your spot, which is exactly what they want. So stand on your square, focus on what it is that you got going, hold your circle accountable, drag everybody up in your circle, make sure that they on point at all times. And as far as the outside noise, the white noise, let that be what it be. Because when you winning, that's gonna be there. It ain't no way around it. It's a package deal. It's a package deal.
They talked
But
about
I was just
Jesus.
gonna say that.
They talked about Jesus, baby.
that's real. That's real.
I was
Man.
just gonna say that. How do we hold people accountable? But you said it. You know, your circle. It starts with your circle, man. You hold your circle accountable, then things will fall where they may, right? Like things will change. You know, the circle of friends I have are small because of how I operate. You know, and they hold me accountable. If I mean, they all across the, you know, well, one is kind of far from me in Atlanta, and the other one is close to me. You know, here in DFW, and I can call and talk to them, and I may say something to them. They're like, "Dude, what are you talking about? Like this, that don't make no sense. What you're saying? You're gonna need to reevaluate that." Case in point was a financial decision that I was going to make, you know, about some money that I was going to spend and how I was going to spend it. And I had reached out to one of my close friends in Atlanta, and he's a financial expert or whatever. He was like, "Dude, like I don't see whether the numbers even line up for this to be a really good decision." And so I said, "Okay, well then let's talk this through to see what that would look like." And as a result, you know what I'm saying, I was able to kind of recalibrate my thought process on how I wanted to use my money, and it became a really good decision for me in the long run. Whereas if I would have been the individual say, well, you can't tell me you can't tell me what to do with my money, you know what I'm saying? That would have put me and my family back, right? So I'm definitely with you on that tip about making sure your circle is the one you're holding accountable, because if you want to be the change that you want to see, right? And so I think that is where people have a hard time understanding on this social media stuff, that because you don't know me, then you can't tell me nothing, right? Well, then you shouldn't say nothing on social media if you don't want nobody to say nothing to you, right? Even though I'm not your friend, if you put it on social media, you're asking for a response, right? Now that's up to you to decide if you take that and do something with it. But for sure, you want to make sure that your circle, is well intact. I mean, they talk about you can talk about the 5 people that's in your circle, pretty much tell you who you are, right? And if they're scoundrels, then you probably a scoundrel too, right? If you're a business person, then you're probably going to be business minded, or you're going to be the 6th person that is going to be a business person, right? So that code of conduct is where it says, you got to start with you and then your circle. So, I mean, I think it's a really good dialogue. Hopefully people will take this into play and execute it.
Hey, humble dad, I'll say something even for what you were saying. I'm glad you brought that up, because I did mean to say this too. It starts as something with something as simple as setting the tone, right? So I have a couple of childhood friends, right? And none of us are perfect. We all got seeds, and we were all married, and one of us is remarried. But my other homeboy, he's been divorced. And I remember when cats used to come around me talking about, like, we have those moments and those conversations about the mother of our children, right? But they would come around and say, baby mama. And I'm talking about, you talking about accountability. It was something as simple as, hey fam, don't call her that. That's disrespectful to me. That's disrespectful for you to refer to that woman as a baby mama, knowing the connotation that comes with that. You chose that. Now, I don't mind us, the 3 of us getting together and we having our moment and we like, yeah, man, this, that, and third happened, whoopie whoop, blah, blah, blah. That's one thing. But then for it to turn into baby mama, calling out her name, and I had to be the one to set the tone, like, yo, fam, at the end of the day, like, you chose that. This is why you don't hear me say anything negative about the mother of my children. You don't hear me say anything negative about a marriage I was in for 10 years. I chose that. I went into that. Wasn't eyes wide shut. It was eyes wide open. Right? I did that. I made those decisions. So I gotta eat that. You know, but humble dad, to your point, and your cipher, just something as simple as somebody being able to step up and say, you know, hey man, look, for the tone of this conversation, this is because now when we had those conversations, like, yeah, you could vent to me, bro. You could tell me, like, okay, man, you went to family court. That's what they said. With people, I get your frustration, man. Been there too. We could talk about that, but we're gonna have rules of engagement when we talk about it to maintain our dignity and our integrity, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's good.
This is the code of conduct, and this is the community we got to start to build if we're gonna reclaim anything and leave anything for this next generation. Because I be telling these cats, man, my legs are done, fam. My legs are done. My purpose right now is to give you the game. Hove did that so you wouldn't have to go through that. Right? That's what he said. I'm not a Jay-Z fan, though.
That's bullshit.
Why you not a Jay-Z fan?
I'm a fan of him as a businessman, but music, he just don't do it for me. It ain't no
what? And stop saying your legs is done. You're still young.
I hear you, Shan. I
got this picture in my head. They just wobbling.
I hear you. I'm saying, what I'm really trying to say when I have that conversation extensively with these cats is that I know for my generation, we held on to that, like the generation before me held on to that baton a little too long, to the point where we had to take it. So I want these young bloods to know, like, I'm not trying to hold it. I'm trying to pass it I'm trying to pass it. It's like Mufasa the Simba. I'm trying to pass it to you. I ain't trying to, hold on to it. I ain't trying to be Al Bundy out here.
Bars.
And a part of your circle should be, somebody that is horizontal to you, as far as, like, somebody that can kind of challenge you, right? And then you also need that mentor, and then you need to have that mentee, right? That's a part of the circle that most people don't talk about.
All right. Guys, just tuning in. Welcome to King Talk on the Lapeef Network. Make sure you guys get these likes. So what we at? What we on the likes, man? Y'all I got an idea. What we are? Are we down? We up? Almost at 600? 6,000?
We literally need 6 more. My bad.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't get off mute quick enough.
I said we had 6,000 likes. I said that's what I'm talking about, baby. We cooking. We cooking now.
6 more to hit the goal. We need the 6 more to hit more.
All right, y'all. Let's get these likes up, man. Let's get it to a stack. And the goal won't be 2 stacks after that. Also, join the membership as well. We do got membership open. Let me post that right now, right there in the chat for you guys. We refer to them as the Green Gang. There you go. I got the link right there. Moving on to our last and final topic of the night. Let me kick it off with you, Shan. The importance of improving the black male image. The importance of improving the black male image. Kick it off, Mr. Rawls.
I don't know. It's a couple ways I can look at this. Importance of improving the black male image. Part of me want to say the importance of properly displaying the black male image, because the way the question reads to me is almost like we're in a sad state of disregard and we need to do something better. We do. There is a lot of things that black men need to improve on. That's where we get the Pookies and the Ray Rays. But by and large, I champion the black men, and I know by and large that we're the shit. My issue is, are we being displayed as such? Does media portray us as such? I look at the billboards that's up and down Crenshaw Boulevard, man, and I'll be like, God, dog, they dog us out. Who approves these billboards? Got us up here looking like that, and that's not us. I get it. I understand the hood. I understand gangbang, and I understand drugs, and I get all of that. But by and large, when I think of black men and our resilience and our intelligence and how amazing that black men are, you know, again, my message is to young Black men to make sure that they become better Black men, so they become better people in general, so they don't hurt women, so they are the better versions of themselves. Everybody said the better version of yourself, you know, but it's a great phrase. And so that is one of my goals, but I'm specifically targeting younger guys. To be honest with you, most of the people that I know are amazing men. So I wish there was a way that we can take control of our image and portray it more accurately, as opposed to the loud minority that's out there making it seem like we're all shiftless, we all broke, we all baby daddies, all of us is baby daddies, all of us ain't got no money, all of us ain't you know, we ain't as if all of us ain't shit. And that's just simply not the case. That's why I always reference that article from 2013 of the CDC saying that Black fathers, as an example, Black fathers are the best fathers in America. They read to the children more than white parents, Hispanic parents, and Asian parents. They eat with their children and they feed their children. They sit at a dinner table more. They tuck their children in bed more than others. And this report was 2013. It's almost damn near 8 years ago that this came out. And I didn't hear about it until the Wall Street Journal put it out in 2 years later in 2015. It was a report that was done and it was silent. Nobody talked about it. They were like, oh, we're not touching that. Oh, we're not going to report that. And some lowly reporter decided to decided to do an article on it in the Wall Street Journal 2 years after the report came out. And then it didn't even become popular until 2 years later after that in 2017. So here we got a report in 2013 saying Black men are the best dads in America. And we don't hear about it until 2017. Well, who suppressed that report? How come that wasn't on headlines across the nation? Oh, the people that don't want people to know how amazing Black men are. So I think it's extremely important that we work on young men so they can even become better than we already are, because I think that Black men are already amazing. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. I just wish that we can take control of our image somehow, some way, and show the world how amazing we are. That's my point.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, black men and young men are amazing, but because of the world we live in, we have to adapt to what the reality is.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm reading I do my book reading. So we're reading the Moynihan report and we're on chapter 4 tomorrow morning. Yet day before, or was it Friday or Monday, we read the root cause of it. And it spoke on during the turn of the century, right before World War II, in the 1920s and the 1930s, there was this image in America on being bravado, but how men were very, like, you know, they wore top hats, and being smooth and being manly was this big push in America, except for Black men. And if you were, as they called it, a sassy nigga, they suppressed you. They suppressed all the sassy niggas who thought highly of themselves. If you were a Black man in the turn of the century, last century, you thought highly of yourself, you got lynched. Everybody else can be proud of who they were and walk the streets with their head up, with a top hat and having a pocket watch and in a pinstripe suit. And you was the man as long as you wasn't Black. If you was Black, they had to get rid of that image because they didn't want Black men to look like they were something. And I think that prevails all the way until today in a lot of different ways. So, yeah, in a nutshell, yes.
Okay. Ricky, the importance of improving the Black male image. What are your thoughts?
For who? That's my question. For who?
Bars.
Right? Why do we allow somebody that's not us to set the standard for us? Why? Right? Now, I think it's your responsibility to elevate your image. Right? That's your responsibility. And everything starts with family. Every single thing starts with your family. Every single thing. The world could tell you whatever it wanted if you knew the truth. If you knew the truth that when a man dedicates himself to a black woman and vice versa, that the world can't stop him. Right? See, but the reason why it's a problem because y'all don't believe that. Right? People, you know, the example, Beyonce knows, and JG, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's an anomaly. Right? Look at this, a black family working it out. Right? Successful, rich, financial, and most part keep their business out the public. Right? Right? But y'all don't believe it. Y'all don't believe it capable. Right? We mentally chain ourselves, and this I'm gonna be honest with you. When coming into this society we live in, it's not your fault. We all programmed the same way. We all programmed the same way. But like I said, once you are adult, it's your job to address the issues you have within yourself. I know my people, the issue. I know. That's why I trust them off bat until you give me a reason otherwise. That's why I extend myself at wholeheartedly, like my big mama taught me to do, because my people come first. Right? But you see it all the time. And I hate to mention this, you know, in the chat, you know, everybody want to have that when it comes to black men, right? It's always the worst case scenario that put up. It's always the worst case scenario. Right? Are women out here moving around with the attitude that the worst thing is going to happen? And then when it happens, you're surprised when you set your reality. Right? Who do I have to be better in my image to accept the people that count? That's my wife, that's my family, that's my children, that's my circle, my guys, right? I don't care what they think of me. I don't care. Who are you? You don't set the standard in my life. I'm not Gucci'd up. That's not me. That's not my life. Right? But y'all got to understand, when you go play in them people's house, you got to play by them people's rules. We need our own house. We need our own outlets. We need our own figureheads. We need our own leaders. Right? And when we got these leaders that's stepping out on the front line to make changes for you, y'all need to know y'all responsible for that family if something happened to that man. There's no point for our men to be martyrs, to be stabbed in the back. What's the point? I might as well stick with mine and make it happen, right? They not us. They'll never be us. They'll never be us. And that's the problem. Y'all got to realize they don't want us here, bro. And it's so bad, they got y'all convinced that you don't want to be here either. We got to get back to trusting each other. We got to get back to stop believing the lies that people put in front of you. But what do I know? That's all I got, bro.
You know, that was and I'm speaking because I hear people have these conversations, at least similar to it, right? And I've heard on the panel that if you're raising your child, you want to raise your child to be able to just be normal, not flood their minds with these people are not like for you, like you're not going to be accepted. Like, do you guys feel as though that we should be telling our kids these things?
To what? Be mediocre? To accept mediocrity?
No, he's saying like you remember how your grandma used to tell you you got to work twice as hard to get half as much because you're competing against them.
Right, yeah.
You're
That's
at a
what I'm saying.
disadvantage because of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, should we be teaching our children that? And what I would say is that for my generation, we probably the last ones that got that message, and that's where it's gonna die. Because these kids are dealing with something completely different now.
Yeah. I mean, but even as the men, so I understand we're having this conversation. And for the sake of the conversation, right? I just want to be open minded because not everybody think like the way we discussing it right now. So um I get what Ricky's saying when he's saying I set the standard. But unfortunately, until we be able to create our own spaces and have the power to do so, we live in a reality where we have to navigate to what the norm is. Even though we may not factor in that that's the norm, when you go into these corporate spaces, when you meeting these big shots and so forth, there has to be some type of discipline when it comes to the way that you present yourself.
Well, I think
So, like, is it okay? I understand the message that we preaching, but should we be preaching that message? And again, just for the sake of the conversation.
yeah,
No.
because I think we got to
Mm.
start moving to a solution. So I think what Ricky's saying is on point. But as he was talking, I was also thinking about the fact because the caveat that he tied it in with is that as long as we in these people's house, you got to play by their rules. So there's still a balance that like you still do have to do that, right? So I do think that there has to be a kind of balance in the messaging, and we got to begin skewing that messaging towards ownership, control. And I don't know if people, I know we use a lot of like this. Here's the thing. I know we use like a lot of entertainment references and it throws people off because they be like, well, that's an anomaly and this and the third woo woo. And I
I
think
don't
Shannon did a brilliant breakdown one time on why we use entertainers and people that are highly visible for reference points. I think we got to continue and what I'm about to say, because I prefaced it with the entertainment, but we got to continue to push this message around ownership. When you look at Jay-Z, ownership. When you look at Will Smith, say what you want about Will Smith, ownership. Man's an owner. He's a producer, not like movie producer. I'm saying like he's a producer. Ownership. We gotta because Steve Stout, ownership. We got Dame Dash, like that's something that he's Nipsey Hussle, ownership. We gotta continue to push that message and balance it out because then when I show up to an art gallery looking like this, I'm not the anomaly. I'm spotting other people that look just like me. But until that time, I got to show up like Trill's birthday picture, right? The picture you put up for his birthday. I don't mind. I'm actually y'all brothers in
He had it ready.
y'all brothers inspire me, man. I gotta invest in some hard bottoms and you know what I'm saying, get my bow tie game up. Apparently, I'm
So
smacking, you know. So, but I think JR, honestly, and I'll let the other brothers chime in. We gotta continue to drill this message. We got to balance it, we got to temper it, but I think the bigger message is around ownership because we control the cool, but we don't control the narrative. And we got to control both. We stamp what's cool. People, hip hop is the biggest export from America. Do the numbers. Hip hop, everything that hip hop influences. There's not a bigger cultural export than hip hop.
Yeah, I don't teach my kids, that. I mean, I let them know. Like I talk to them about, the image that has been set in media, and so and I don't just talk to them about it. I let them see it, like when we watch different shows and things like that. And but I talk to them about there's nobody that can stop you from becoming an owner. Like you set the tone of becoming an investor or an entrepreneur or whatever that case may be. And when I did my study, um, these past 5-6 years, and I talked to several different black entrepreneurs, and specifically, uh, only 2 out of 50 even said that race had an issue with how they walked in and was able to start doing their business. So Now, what I'm saying is we got to know that there are people that are against us, but that shouldn't determine that we're going to move towards ownership, right? And so if we are so focused on what other people are doing, then that means we're not. That's less focusing on what we're doing, you know. And so I would say I don't really try to talk to them so much about that the world is against us, as opposed to talking to them about how to get to the bag, if you will, or how to be integrity, how to have integrity, how to be accountable, how to think logically, how to be a person of your word. So those are the things that I teach my kids on a regular basis. And my daughter recently, she told me she didn't even know that kids had an option until she was 4 because I was so strict on it, you know, because I'm trying to get them to understand that there is a way to get to what you want to get to, and nobody can stop you from getting to that point.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's imperative that we teach our kids that the game is rigged. And the reason why I would say that is because I don't believe in ideals. It's not reality. So I could teach you that everything is like them cartoons that you watch or those nice movies that you watch. But when you get outside, you're gonna get smacked in the face with what reality is. And reality is that the game is rigged. Now, I'm not saying that for you to take your foot off of the gas. I'm saying that for you to press down and increase the urgency on what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Yeah. Right. Because I would equate it to sports. You got people that are like naturally good. Let's use basketball, for example. You got people that are naturally good, right? But if you putting in his head, hey man, you good, you great all the time. And that's all he ever hear. But he don't hear about that dude that's 2 neighborhoods over that's in that gym at 4 in the morning, 3 a.m. every day, putting up 1,000 shots while you just resting on your laurels that I'm talented, whatever the case may be. He's gonna surpass you because there's no sense of urgency. You already feel like we good. You already feel like everything is ideal. You feel like we all have the same starting point. We don't. We are way behind, and it's imperative that we teach our kids that the game is rigged so they can try their best to close that gap and move with a sense of urgency. If they don't, we don't teach them that, then they're gonna move like we on the same we at the same starting line, and we are
Let
not, and that's doing a disservice to us.
me ask a question to you, Trill. Why is it important for the kid to know that the game is rigged? How does that determine how to proceed?
I would say so they don't take their foot off of the gas. Again, it's if you are teaching them that we all starting from the same starting point, then you are going to be comparing yourself to what you see around you, which may be, not a realistic standpoint. This person, again, let's just use school for example, because I've been reading this book called the Outliers recently. Well, I just did,
Mm.
and the thing about the Outliers, they were saying like some people are naturally gifted, true. But the reason people reach greatness is because of the extra work that they put in on top of being naturally gifted, right? So if I'm teaching my kid, hey, we all got the same starting point, we all got the same opportunities, we all got this, we all got that, my child is going to be cool with just going to school and getting that regular education, right? While that white kid on the other end, he going to school and getting that same education with my kid, but my kid looking at them like, okay, well, as long as I can keep up with him, he getting the same education I'm getting, I'm good. But that's not realistic. What's realistic is when that white kid go home, he getting extra education. That white kid coming back for summer school, that white kid is getting put in special programs that his parents is paying for. That's going speed his learning curve up. So at the end of this school year, going into next year, y'all might have been on the same level at that point, but he done surpassed you. Why? Because it's no sense of urgency. I'm not giving you a sense of urgency, so you feel like it's cool. No, no, no. I'm gonna say, look, you are starting from behind. You need to attain as much information as you possibly can, as fast as you possibly can. There is pressure with being us and trying to close this 400-year gap that we got. There is pressure in that. So I mean, I could sit here and talk to you like it ain't, but that's not helping that gap get closed no faster. That's why I would say that my reasoning is.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just wanted, kind of some clarification
Mhm.
because if I can see what you're saying, if an individual knows that they're behind and this person is in front of them, they have additional support, if you will, in some cases, not all, right?
Mhm.
Then you're going to move a different way. right? I think the benefit to your statement is also that parent that's there telling that kid, you know what I'm saying, that you're behind, you need to operate in such a manner so that we can speed up the process to close this gap that we have. But and so I'm saying to that don't let it be so much of a primary focus, but just know that that's what's going on, right? Because sometimes, with the kid, they'll think about so much. I think about it like this: kid playing sports, right? They're thinking about so much of the outside world that they can't focus on being at the plate or being at the free throw line or being just in the game, right? But if they have an understanding that these things do occur, like there's going to be crowd noise, there's going to be some people that talk crazy to you. Don't focus on that. Know that it's there, but take care of your business where you're at. So that's why I was trying to, just make that connection.
Yeah, no, and again, it honestly sounds like that we saying the same thing. We just saying it in different ways. Essentially, all I'm saying is understanding that you behind. Let's use that basketball example. Knowing that you behind. Now I'm gonna be in that gym extra. I'm gonna be in that gym at 3 a.m. every morning, putting up 1,000 jumpers. So that way, once I get into the game, outside noise don't even matter. This is muscle memory at this point. I ain't even thinking. Ball hit my hand. It's just natural release because I do it so much. I do it every day. I practice so much. Y'all can have bullhorns around this motherfucker. It don't matter. I don't hear nothing. It's muscle memory. There is no thought. But I work like that because I knew that I was behind, or I knew that I was behind the curve. You know what I'm saying? So we essentially saying,
But you
the
behind the
same
curve
thing.
because you a young black boy?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
definitely.
Listen, it's so there's two schools of thought, and the question comes down to, when does keeping it real stop? There was an argument. I remember. Do you guys remember when Stephen A. Smith? I'm not into sports. I don't care about professional sports. I don't pay attention to it. But I know Stephen A. Smith was in the hot seat some years ago about something that he said. Maybe it was because he got a promotion at ESPN or some shit like that, and he had went on this diatribe about something that he did. And one of his examples was he was talking to somebody who just was like a first round draft pick. And the guy came in with the dreads and the sneakers, and he was at the, I guess in NFL or NBA, there's the draft and stuff. And he was supposed to get picked as number one, but he was kind of like in a slovenly suit, and he was just keeping it real for the hood. Right. And Stephen had had a conversation with him, was telling him that when you guys don't have a good command of the English language, I remember that phrase, command the English language. Let me move it out of that, because if I can't speak on it good, I don't want to talk about it. Here's the thing. As a parent, this is to everybody that's watching the show. As a parent of a black child, do you teach your son how to interact with the police when you get pulled over? Do you teach him differently than you would teach than you imagine that white people teach their children to interact with police? There was an argument on Facebook that I had with two of my friends. One was of the thought, I'm not teaching my son anything different. I'm not going to teach him because, see, you got the victim Olympics, right? You got the victim. I'm not teaching my son the victim mentality. He needs to get, he's a taxpayer. He's going to be a due citizen. He is a 100% human being and a man. I'm not going to teach him to treat the police differently because he might get killed or he might not get killed. What are the odds? And he was throwing out all these odds and how often the police kill black people, and it's not what people say and all of this. So no, he's going to talk to the police like a man. And then my other guy was saying, no, I'm going to teach my son to be able to come home alive. I'm going to teach him to keep his hands on the steering wheel. I'm going to teach him to turn the car off and because when I was a kid, what we had to do, we took the key out the ignition and we dropped it outside and we rolled the window down. We kept our hands like this. As a kid, this is in the 80s, right? I got my driver's license in 1988. So in 1989, this is before Boys in the Hood in colors. When I got pulled over here in LA in the LAPD, my hands was outside the car when I was driving my Cadillac. But my guy was like, yo, man, that's what I'm teaching my son, because I don't give a fuck about what I'm going to put on his, I remember him saying this, what I'm going to put on his tombstone, but at least he kept it real.
Exactly.
Do I put on my son's tombstone, but at least he kept it real? So I got one. So the two schools of thought is, no, No victim Olympics over here. This is how you teach people that you have the ability to become who you are, and you just work hard. And this one over here, you say, look, man, the odds are stacked against you. And I need you to know these odds so you will be able to play the game accordingly. Man, I'm kind of straddling the fence on both of them, guys. I don't have an opinion.
What are you teaching? What are you teaching? You got 2 boys.
I know.
What are you teaching them?
So there's no excuses over here, right? You know, like my signature in my emails is the best or nothing. I got that from Mercedes-Benz. That's Mercedes-Benz company motto, the best or nothing. So I'm all about top shelf. Everything is the best. We only do, my name on my podcast is High Value Shan. Not only is Shan a high value man, so is the content. The content, as long as you are doing and thinking and being top shelf, then everything will fall in line. But I can't ignore how with the name Shannon Rawls, got more job interviews when I was in college 20 years ago because they thought I was a woman and didn't think that I was a black man. And I saw the faces when I walked into the interview. And it's like, oh, this is a black guy. Thought we had a female computer programmer coming in. Thought it was going to be a white girl from the Valley. No, it's a black man. And then when I got in there and I blew the interview away, I've been hired at every interview I've ever gone to. In fact, I had to moonlight, or I had to pick which job I wanted. But it wasn't until I already got the interview. If my name would have been Tyrone Jackson,
Tyrone Biggums,
if my name would have been Darnell Jenkins, am I being crazy to believe that I wouldn't have got the interview? But no, my name is Shannon Rawls, and you can't tell what gender I am, and you can't tell what race I am on that job interview.
That's one of the reasons why Jamie Foxx changed his name.
Right.
So I hear what you're saying. Really, what am I teaching my sons? I'm teaching them to be the best they are. But then I know that I can't ignore the reality of America and the shit that we go through here. So I really don't even have much to say on this one, JR. I know I had a lot to say, but I have a lot to say that I don't have nothing to say about this one.
Yeah, because it's tough, man. I keep seeing this victims Olympics word thrown around. It's thrown around very loosely. It's not the victim Olympics is understanding that the cards are stacked against me, and I'm going to settle with being an underachiever. It's a difference from that than knowing the cards are stacked against me. So I'm gonna have to finesse my way to the top, and that's reality for most black kids growing up. Because fact is, you look at the quality of education that the average black kid gets compared to the quality of education that the average white kid gets is night and day difference. Yep, you know what I'm saying? So to have my kid in school thinking, okay, well, as long as, I'm gonna just chill based on this school's guidelines, and I'm doing good here, even though it's a impoverished area and the quality of education is terrible, I'm making all A's here. So when I get to college, I should be good. No, you shouldn't, because I learned that the hard way. I'm speaking from experience. I was top 5 in my class of 500. And when I got to college, I got the first D I ever got in my life.
You got a rude awakening is what you got.
That's, you know what I'm saying? But that's real, like a literal smack in the face. Why? Because in high school, I'm taught all I got to do is show up, have a halfway decent memory, and I'm gonna get all A's. I'm cool. But meanwhile, that white kid on the side of town with money, they getting quality education, and not only that, they taking college courses. They family know a college professor, probably his uncle or something. Hey, yeah, this is what you got to look forward to. This is what the exams are going to look like. So they are preparing differently. So for me to teach my kid based on everybody getting the same education, you good. Just work hard. No, fact is that opportunity matters. Networking matters. That extra work you put in on the side, that matters in terms of your success rate. And if I teach my child like it don't, I'm crippling them. And I can't do that. I got to teach you what the rules of this game are so you can navigate it and finesse your way to the top. You are behind, but there is a way for you to get to the top, and it's not doing standard that you feel like the people are around you doing, because the people are around you more times than not, if you black, or in impoverished, underprivileged situations and getting bottom tier quality education. That's just reality.
Yeah, hey, Ricky, real quick before you jump in, bro, let me just say this just real quick, because I wanted to chime in on Trill's point. You know, I agree with you. When I went to Corliss, I had honors, AP classes, so on and so forth. And you're right. You really just show up if you got a solid memory, you know. But let me tell you something, the area that I work in and the company that I work for, let me tell you something. It's kids that show up in my cafe. I say this, I'm the only person that look like me. I work in a predominantly white area. The nearest high school looks like a college campus. Their Friday night football games look like Ohio State. It look like I ain't gonna no this no, you know, it don't look like U of I. It looked like Alabama, right? So here's the thing. Them same short, they study habits is different. They're not going home to jump on the PlayStation, the PS5s, and do all this. They coming right to my cafe. Study groups. They sitting in there for hours. They almost sitting. So the school lets out 2:30. They come maybe 3, maybe 4 o'clock. They sitting there till like 7, 8 o'clock, knowing they got to get up and do it all over again. And then, you know, mom, dad give them the Discover card. Now they got the Discover card in their name. They got the Amex in their name. They come in, get whatever they want to eat, whatever they want to drink, whatever's going to fuel them for those hours. Mindsets are different. So I agree with you, Trill. Like, we can't rest on our laurels. And I agree. I don't subscribe to that whole, I don't subscribe to the concept of people constantly talking about like the constant notion of victim Olympics, because for a lot of us, it is just having it, like we call it knowledge itself. It's just having the knowledge of, like, this is a reality. It is a reality. It doesn't mean that I rest there. It doesn't mean that I use it as a crutch. It doesn't mean that I make excuses. I tell my people, we don't make excuses. We make it happen. We don't make excuses. We make it happen. I tell the young bloods, we don't make excuses. We make it happen. But gotta also understand, man, listen, I get it. Trill, I'm with you, man. The deck is stacked against us. And even though my sons and Shannon, your sons, are going into a more integrated world where they won't see the opposition as much as maybe what I face, or maybe what you face, or maybe what my grandparents face. Obviously, definitely not what my grandparents face, but they may still see some resistance. So it is beneficial. There's certain groups of people, they'll never forget their history. They'll never forget where they came from. And they actually use that as fuel to propel them forward. So they never go back to that.
Right.
Well, certain people, you'll never catch them in that same situation again.
I just wanted to add, like, this victim Olympic stuff, it compounds my mind. It makes my head hurt, right? Nobody's saying be a victim. But what I'm saying is this. If it's a minefield, those mines ain't actively looking for you, right? The mines ain't jumping out on robot legs and wheels trying to get you. No, but it's there, right? So do you have a better chance of making through that minefield, or somebody tell you where the mines are, or if you just going in there willy-nilly?
Exactly.
But I would argue this, as you know, as a former teacher, it's not necessarily. I think parents in general spend too much time trying to figure out like what the school is doing right or wrong, when most of the things that need to be taught to the kid is from the parent. Because I've taught in, you know, Hispanic neighborhood and, you know, a mixed neighborhood, and what I've seen, the students that had parents in the house and that was actually talking to them about what life is. There was a totally different conversation in my classroom. It was a totally different way how they moved in the classroom. And then I go to a predominantly, you know, white church, you know what I mean? And so their education is not about what school they go into. It's about how their parents are moving. Because education, really, the way that the curriculum is set up in the state of Texas, everybody got to teach the same thing. Okay. And so it's about how what is the parent doing on the outside of school so that that kid can have a better understanding once they walk into the classroom. But I'm not saying that Black people don't have it a little bit worse, but that would be still because parents are still so. Think about this for a moment. If the issue is the school, why do I continue to put my kid in the school that's the problem?
because I can't afford to put them in a better school. That's the thing. And that right there is the only pushback that I would give you. The curriculum is the same for most public schools, right? But the difference is a lot of them are putting their kid in charter schools or private schools to where they in school longer for more time throughout the year than the average kid who just going to school from August and then May. I'm at the crib for 3 months just cooling. A lot of charter schools, you may get month and a half out and you right back to it. And even in that month and a half,
schools.
a lot of them are putting them in summer school. So it really ain't no break. You know what I'm saying? So if you take that same kid who is going to school 90% of the year compared to a kid that's going to school 60% of the year, and you simulate 10 years, who's going to be more advanced mentally?
The person that's going to be more advanced is the person that operates in school. When I lived in India, they went to school six days a week. Okay? Right. And so I'm aware of that, but that also came back from their parents, right?
Yeah,
true. Like, you know what I'm saying? So lots of people had to figure out what it looked like to homeschool when the pandemic happened, right? In my household, we was already operating as homeschool. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't change anything. And so I didn't have to wait on somebody's curriculum to tell me to teach my kids. It was already taking place. I'm saying that people can figure out a way to get whatever they want, but then when it comes to their kids' education, then there's an excuse.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And so I'm saying, take it away from the public school. If you are going to have them in school, then you be their tutor. You figure out a way to get them additional education. If you know they behind, then the part about working hard comes on you as a parent. So I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that we need to take it out of the public schools' hands if that's what we're saying that the issue is.
Hey, humble
so much
dad,
more than just the education side too. It's also life. It's the life. That's why I brought up the poll. It's the life side too. So yeah, a lot of it lands with the parents. Go ahead, Chicago.
Well, I was gonna say this. You know, you think about the statistics. I know if Kay was here, she said, "Where you get the stat from?" But we talk about our boys reading, you know, at a third grade level, right? I remember being in fourth grade reading at an eighth grade level. Mm-hmm. But it was only because of my curiosity and my mind was stimulated. And there's so many obstacles because I do understand, like, for the teachers, and it's one of the reasons, like, when my kids, when my kids come visit, because they don't live with me. When my kids come visit me for the summer, they have book reports due at the end of summer. I read at an eighth grade level at fourth grade, and I guess I'm asking you more or less for a solution, because the way that I was able to do that, I was just a nosy kid, right? So my uncle had a lot of books laying around. I just used to read, and then I got stuck on like Greek mythology. No, I got stuck on Roman mythology first, and then that led me to Greek mythology. And it just took me down this rabbit hole. And then I remember, like, my stepdad used to have these Stephen King books, and I used to read that, right? But that was just me being curious. I was just, you know, again, L7 square nerd, all that, right? And so what are some solutions, or what encouragement, or what insight can you give to parents to help stimulate? Because, again, our boys are falling behind, and our girls are doing good because they're being raised. Our boys are being loved, right? The girls are being raised. Wow. Son husbands.
Wow. Yeah.
Son husbands. So what, I just asking humble dad real quick as an educator, well, maybe one suggestion. I don't want to put you on the spot for 3 or 4, but one suggestion that, you know, what could I do to help with my kids? I already told, they get book reports when they come see me. Book reports. You go to Shan channel, he gonna tell you about the regiment, but he's a military man, so he gonna tell you about the regiment that he put his sons through.
100%. So that question is
salute, King, salute.
The question is pretty simple to me, because I've always had that question asked. So one of the ways that parents can help with their kids reading is to find out what it is that they like to do, right? So you find out what it is that they like to do, and then you find a book about it. Even if it's a comic book, they're reading, right? And then you can ask them to, it doesn't even have to be a book report, that if that's what you want, if they're good, because if they're not a good writer, then it's going to be a challenge, right? And so you kind of have to build up to that, right? So if they're a good writer, then that's a good idea. If you're trying to teach them how to write, that's another way to do it. Let's read this comic book, and then what we can do is you can tell me about what it is you think is what happened, or the context of everything that happened. And then if you read with them, then you can say, okay, what do you think is about to happen, right? So that allows them to think cognitively, and be able to have awareness of what the author is trying to do. But oftentimes what parents do, they say, well, my kid don't like to read. Well, that's true, but they definitely are interested in something. So find that interest and get them a book that kind of matches that.
And also, I feel like just incentives in general, because that's what made me go get all A's. My aunts and uncles was drug dealers. So when I brought my report card home, I used to get $20 an A when I was a kid. So it's like that's gonna give me a different kind of motivation. Okay, well now I need to make all A's so I can get this money at the end of the whatchamacallit. But then in the process of that, you get in the habit of certain habits that are healthy from a scholastic perspective. You know what I'm saying? And then, my mom was real big on just reading in general. She used to make me read the newspaper when I was a kid. She used to make me read books and then come back and explain to her what exactly the book was about. So it's like I fell into routine of just reading. So anything I was curious about, I go research. Even to this day, if I watch a movie about, say, a historic event or something, the first thing I'm doing when that movie go off is going on Google and researching. Who is these characters? What happened there? So it sparked my curiosity, but it started from incentive. And a lot of us don't give our kids incentive for doing well, but we'll punish them for doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it got to go both ways, and it ain't got to necessarily be money, but just maybe responsibilities or like privileges or whatever the case may be. If you start assigning them on an incentive basis, then they'll have more reason to do it. But
No, but
Yeah,
you
to
know
add to that, one of
Hey, True, just real quick. Hey, just real quick. Seriously. Something as simple as I remember I still got my report card from seventh grade. I'll tell you the teacher that I had. I had Mr. Drosgo. I was pissed at Mr. Drosgo. You know why? That report card, I got all A's and 4 B's for the entire year. When I talked to Mr. Drosgo and I said, yo, why I didn't get straight A's? Because I was gunning for straight A's. There's no way I could give you straight A's. You're a good student, Woods. You're a good student.
What?
Right. I couldn't give you all A's. I had to give you, I was like,
wow.
But
That's bullshit.
Here's the kicker. When I brought my report card home, I hate being transparent sometimes on this platform because people will take it and run with it, man. But real spill. When I took that report card home, you know what the sentiment was like? All right, little nigga. Because it was like, that's what I expected of you.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What you want? What you expect me to give you $10? Nah, little nigga. Good job, little nigga. And it was like, man, if I had just had some acknowledgement, it would have propelled me, because it definitely propelled me once I got to high school. Again, I said I had honors in AP, but I didn't keep down that path. My senior year, I caught senioritis and struggled academically.
Right.
For no reason other than I didn't really, it was like, that's what was expected of me. And I was about to be the third person in my family to graduate from high school.
But hey, that's the plight.
His head.
Y'all keep saying it ain't no race. That's the plight of the black man, my guy.
Yeah.
That's the plight of the black man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he a good man. After a while, he become boring, and the stuff he do that no other man did for your life, it become normal. Yeah. Right? It become you supposed to do it.
Yep. I don't want to reward
another thing that we did with our daughter.
Eating good.
He did, man. He did. Another thing we did with our daughter, we gave her the job description of what she wanted to be. She was talking about she wanted to be a zoologist, and so my wife was like, "That's what you want to be?" It's like, this is the money. And so she went to show her this is the money they make, and this is the criteria that you're going to have in order to be a zoologist. And she was like, and we was like, "Are you sure?" Because that's not a lot of money, right? And so that almost changed her perspective until she had found her passion was animals, and she was like, "That is what I want to be." So she knows what the description is to be a zoologist, and so that is how we're kind of what I'm trying to do as far as build her towards that. But she also wants to be a business owner. So, she's trying to figure out at 12, how is it that she can do both?
And which is dope of you to guide her that way, man. And just going back to the incentives thing, man. The reason that I would advise that is because that's how the real world works. You get rewarded for being disciplined and for achieving and overachieving. You get rewarded for that. You get advanced in your career. You get more financial opportunities. You get like all of that. If you just convert it from the classroom to real life, it's a direct parallel in terms of incentive. So why not teach that to the kid? And again, it don't got to be money. My situation was a bit different than a lot of people's situation, but it could just be privileges in itself. And it's like, if you go in there and you bust your ass in school, you can get whatever you want. And that's how my mom and daddy was, and everybody was around me. As long as you bring home them A's, you good. It's so much so to where if I made an 89 in elementary, I'd be crying. Everybody like, why you crying, bro? You gotta be there. I'm not gonna get my money, fam. And that's how real life works. So that's why I feel like incentives is very important, man. Very important.
All right, we got the coastal clinician in the house. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Welcome to the show. What you got for us?
You muted.
Hold on, let me take you off mute. I got it. There you go.
All right. Well, listen, man, this show is a very powerful, very
Kosha, please. Hey, just real quick while he get unfroze, real quick, just shout out to Kosha for supporting the network on his live stream earlier. I couldn't jump down with the campaign, but bro, thank you, sir, for all the love that you show and the support that you were showing for us, and for tackling an all-important issue on your platform, man. That displaced aggression is a major topic, and you the perfect gentleman to cover that. So salute to you. I saw Ingram Experience come up too, and a couple other familiar faces. So shout out to you.
Well, listen, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Lapeef. I'm glad you guys are back. I'm proud of you guys. Shout out to my man Shannon for holding it down, the Ingram Experience. Shout out to Trill. Trill's a good brother. Manhood is under attack. And I think the epigenesis of manhood has been under attack, guys, since the inception of the black man on the slave ship. So let me nuance this conversation, because the image of the black man is very vital, because the image of the black man is still struggling, because the image of the black man symbolizes power. And it goes back to what the brother Ricky Williams said earlier. I've said it several times on my show that there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized, and family is one of those key elements for male optimization. The plight of a man is determined by the imprint that's laid upon him by his fathers, or his father, or the elders, the tribe, or the community. But with 80% of our children being born in single-parent homes, who's instilling values, power, and the non-negotiation of power in relationships and life? Many of our boys are broken. Many of our men are broken because we have very low self-esteem. We don't believe in ourselves. When you're 6'5", 6'6", like myself, if you're very articulate, you get shunned. So when you're 6'6", articulate, highly educated, a lot of times your image is being macerated because people don't expect you to project what they see because you are a black man in America. So because there's so many layers to this, as Brother Wicker Williams said earlier, and I agree with him, it starts with the family. But then once it starts with the family, it starts with the tribal communal of elders working together to instill power and hope. But see, here's the caveat to this, guys. There are so many liberal policies that are more or less advantageous or not advantageous to the functioning of so many black men in America. And because of that, many of our men don't see themselves in a very powerful or more or less great image. That's why you have the displaced aggression that Chicago really talked about. That's why you have what's called in many other unconscious pathologies that are going on in our community that's causing the psychic break that we have now. And so these conversations are very important, because until we get back to the core, and as I said earlier, the epigenesis of this crisis, you're going to continue to have these same problems over and over again with these liberal policies that more or less permeate, that are telling our men that they are girls and fairies and all other kinds of stuff. It's causing a lot of confusion with our children. And so it's important for us to have these conversations so we can get back to the core elements of the matter to try to move the conversation forward, because heteronormative masculinity appears to be under attack. And it's important that we have these discussions because many times, unfortunately, I went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, a very good school, but a very liberal school. And I love my alma mater, but it's very liberal. And some of the things that they talk, I didn't agree with. But it's always been an attack on black men. And it's continued as we have this conversation now. I don't see that the evolution of the black male, the evolution of the family, more or less reaching its full fruition in this lifetime. But we got to start somewhere. And I think this conversation that you're having now is vital and very important because, as I said earlier, the image of the black man has been pulverized in many areas because I believe when black men are synchronized and optimized, there's not a man on the planet that can deal with black men when we really know what our true place is. I believe in that and stand on that.
How do we get there, Kosha? I know you said these conversations are the starting point this year. Because I know you also talked about the meteoric rise of Kevin Samuels in this space and what he's done for this conversation, right? But moving into 2022, because at some point, there's a great Negro philosopher named Jay-Z that said we got to move on to our actionable items, right? So in the spirit of Jay-Z, 2022 coming up, what do we need to do to move on to those actionable items, sir?
Well, listen, Trill said something that was very poignant and very powerful. He talked about the incentivization of values. So how do we move forward? We move forward by instilling values. We move forward by being unapologetically masculine. We move forward when we speak truth to power, because like the brother said, he's correct. Brother Ricky Williams, he said that, with moral relativism, guys, it teaches you that your truth is your truth, my truth is my truth. But the brother's right. It's no such thing as my truth, your truth, and their truth. The truth is the truth. It's unwavering. It's unfeigned. It's irretractable. The truth is its truth. It stands firm on its own conviction. It never waves. So we need men like Ricky Williams. We need guys like Lapeef. We need guys like Ingram, myself, continue to speak truth to power with conviction and clarity. And understand that many times we will be under attack for speaking truth, but we must march on anyway because that's what our ancestors would have expected. So I would say continue to speak truth to power, number one. Continue to be unwavering in your convictions as a man. Continue to instill values and hope because those values and hope is vital to the functioning of a tribe and the functioning of a community. But the last thing I would say is similar to the edicts of the gospel. The gospel says if a man lacks discipline, he will bring himself to poverty and shame. And so we got to instill discipline again in our boys and in our communities because I didn't become who I am as a man if I didn't have discipline. I had to become disciplined. And I'm still learning to become disciplined because I'm still clay that's being molded as we have this conversation. I'm not a finished product. But that's why we got to have these conversations. So I think those four elements, Chicago Rilla, are critical, but yet at the same time, crucial to the evolution of the new image of the black man, in my opinion.
And you know what, Chicago? Another thing to add to that, earlier on Kosher's show, because I was driving and I was listening to a show. I was in a meeting and just listening to a show. Some people, and I think we even had that question here at our show, King Talk, maybe some weeks back, was talking about solutions, right? What do we do? And, say, for instance, we don't have the solution, but we're still doing our part. A lot of people, I get messages every once in a while. Oh, Shan, you know what? I watch I go to your show and I watch but what you doing though? What you doing? And my response is having the conversation. Let's just have the conversation. It may not be a solution for right now. I may not have the solution. In fact, I don't have the solution oftentimes, but I want to at least have the conversation because we didn't even talk about this just 5 years ago, 10 years ago, hell, 20 years ago. This conversation wasn't even being had. Maybe the solution that's going to come to our aid as a community is going to come from somebody who doesn't have a podcast today, who's actually listening to the Lapeef Network, listening to Kosher, listening to Shannon Rawls, and saying, oh, well, I may not have a following and I may not have a community of people, but I understand what the problem is. I think I have something that's going to be able to help us out. And then that person goes out and creates, invents, innovates something that's going to help us all out. I think us just having the conversation is enough.
Right.
Us just talking about it is enough because damn, we can't put the carriage before the horse. First, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tupac. He once said, I may not change the world, but
Hey, brother,
I'll
can I
walk the
respond to
mind
this?
that'll change the world.
Can I respond to this
That's
one?
real.
Hey, Ingrid, before you go, because I know you finna cook. Shout out to Gail. Gail, you are my favorite Jamaican. Shout out to you for dropping everybody's channel. Man, I'm so glad you got a blue wrench over here. My favorite Jamaican, and when I get to whatever part of Georgia you in, I'm definitely gonna work on my capoeira.
Hey man, look, I saw your brothers I was like, I couldn't believe it, man. You brothers are back up, man. Look, I think one of the most important facts. A salute to you, JR, Chicago, all you brothers, man. I love you guys. This is the first stage in terms of dealing with issues and problems. You have 8 black men up here, respectful black men that are, pillars of the community. One of the biggest issues I think that happens with our community is we're so obsessed with this woke and code as opposed to outcome and results.
Right.
And results are what matters. Winning is what matters. The fundamental problem, like even dealing today with Kosher's show, I don't even want to bring that into, is you have these individuals, many people with these government mindsets, and we've seen what the government has done to our families, has done to our community, being in bed with them, the government as a solution. And one of the things, addressing Shannon's thing, when I asked him, what are you doing at the grassroots level? And the brother talks about legislation and passing laws and all this other stuff. When I said to the brothers this, you want to pass a law in the black community that will make an immediate change, marry before you carry. That don't take no legislative issue or require men to be certain things before they can breathe. Maybe they need to pass through the elders before they mess with the daughter or something like that. These are stuff that comes throughout the family, and the nuclear family has always been the foundation of successful communities. And when we talk about these statistics themselves, just by having a father in the home, you've increased the success rate of every child, a respectable, good father, by 20 times. You've given your kid 20 times an increase in the rate for which they can be successful just by having a decent father. So regardless of
dad's on duty.
Yeah, I'm saying regardless of factors that are outside. See, I take more of an approach of victimology, whereas, I'm of the position is this. Here's my mentality. You caught me as a slave. You ain't gonna catch me as a slave again, because now you allow me to figure out your angle of how you enslaved me. So the next time you come to try and enslave me, I'm gonna take everybody out. And it's the same thing. I was a cop for 21 years, and I'll tell people right off the back, there's 2 versions of the police. There's the police that roam around the black community, and there's police that roam around in an empowered community. And in an empowered community, the police are taking out trash and getting cats out of trees. There's 2 different types of community. So you've got to figure out from a position of power, how do you deal with the situations and how do you strategize them? And wokeness doesn't help. And I explained to brothers right off the bat, what happens in our community is that we focus more on the tone as opposed to substance. If a black man in this space, it's like, for instance, if I wanted to be a plumber, and I know this extremely good master plumber, he has all the skills, he has all the talent that I need, but he's a little bit of a prick. I may have to suck it up to learn his skill set. Yeah, he's an asshole. But the reality is this, he's giving me a skill that can get me $500 an hour.
Right. Ignore the delivery.
Right. We focus, I don't want to say feminine energy, but that's that feminine energy. We got too much feminine energy in our community where we focus on tone. Grown men focus on tone. Like, it's like me being in police academy. I've been through 2 different police academies, and I've dealt with nonsense throughout the ranks. We focus on tone more than we focus on getting the knowledge and using that knowledge to pass on to our people to get outcome. And that's what the problem is we focus too much on the emotional side of things.
I agree. I think also just showing, especially our younger generation, more examples of what success looks like. And that's why us being able to conquer the, I guess, media in terms of what our image or how our image is portrayed is so important. A lot of kids growing up in these impoverished places literally only feel like it's a couple ways out of here. Sports, drugs, or, you know what I'm saying? Something that's very, very rudimentary. But I think, you know, again, because me, for example, I didn't have doctors in my neighborhood. I didn't have judges in my neighborhood, scientists, computer engineer. I didn't have none of that in there. It was drug dealers, it was refinery workers, and athletes. Those were the roots to success. So if you wasn't that, you was on the school board, but that was it. You know what I'm saying? So when we get to college, a lot of us don't even know like what our options are as far as being successful. Because the only thing successful we'd never seen was 3 lanes. Yeah. But a lot of that stems from the media. Who was the most famous black people? Right. Athletes, actors, entertainers. When it's so many black folks that's behind the scenes, that's the lawyers for these people, or that's the you know, therapists for this person making all kind of money, or just it's so many other ways to get money, and we just ignorant to it. We don't have the information because, again, it's not really broadcasted like that in media. Just like what Shan was saying earlier about black dads being the most involved fathers in the world. That's something, if we didn't dig for that information, we wouldn't know that. That ain't going to be on VH1 that we watching, or that ain't going to be on ESPN that we watching. These places that most people spend most of our time visualizing, because fact is most kids spend more time outside than in the house anyway. You know what I'm saying? Or on their phone than actually listening to what their parents talking about anyway. So as a parent, of course, you can like set guidelines, but reality is reality. They're going to be outside more than they would you. So I think we have to control or start to control what's outside as far as their examples and what they have to look forward to, and actually like teaching them what does success look like. It's more ways to be successful than these few things that we see broadcasted on ESPN or VH1 or, you know what I'm saying, or in rap.
Well, you know what's crazy, Trill? One of the things we got to start looking at is what they're being exposed to on YouTube. Because the same way that terrestrial radio is on the decline and has been for years, cable TV, satellite TV, terrestrial TV, as we know it, is on the decline as well. And so just really quick, because I'm about to pull double duty and jump in these chats, I really did want to say shout out to the real OGs. It's important for me to say this. This is going to sound way off. Shout out to the real OGs, because Kosha, I was tuned in. I just couldn't jump in.
Oh no, you're fine, brother. I understand.
But I was tuned in. I saw some of the stuff in the comments. And what I want to say is it's a lot of young bloods out here that are hurting. Hurting. And again, you're the perfect person to talk about displaced aggression, the type of displaced aggression that will drive a person to the point where they hate on the success of another man so bad where you're ready to topple his entire situation that he created for himself to feed his family. Right. And then claim that you have OGs that you sit under.
Right.
See, Ingram experience, when I listen to him, he comes through with that fatherly, and he's balanced and he's objective, and hey man, I've been there, I did this, yeah, I was 12 for 21 years, and Ingram charms and disarms you, but he gonna give you that real. But that's what real OGs do. I'm gonna connect with you right where you at, and I'm gonna give you this game. So I just wanted to really big y'all gentlemen up for coming up, man, because like you said, it's 8 black men on this panel building,
right. And that's why I was so angry, because JR has been a pillar. I always tell people, everybody may not agree with me as a therapist or also as a black man, but because I've seen so many different layers from working in law enforcement, from working as a teacher. I was a teacher. I was a special ed teacher, but also being a clinical therapist now, I've seen the different layers and the different pathologies that are ruminating. And, I understood what it was. It was almost like an ambush. I saw what was going on. That's why I had to preface it, because my whole point is you don't attack a man just because you disagree with him. If I got beef with Ingram, I'm not going to bring that beef to JR because JR hasn't done anything to me. And I never understood why people carry petty beefs when that person doesn't have anything to do with what's going on. So, you know, like I said, man, I'm honored to continue to inspire the brotherhood, man. You know, these shows are vital to the functioning of our men. We need to start seeing more black men in power because this social metastasis, social cancer, is beginning to more or less spread like wildfire. And I'm going to tell you, when you start looking at the layers, it's a lot more cancerous than you think. So, you know, we look at it on the surface and where it's not as bad, but once you start peeling those layers back, there's a lot of cancers in this society that needs to be eradicated. And it's not going to be eradicated overnight. It's going to take time. It might not happen in my generation, but the conversation got to start now.
What I wanted to add to the conversation is this is the reason why this is dope is because we also are showing individuals how to communicate.
Right.
Right. Like we are not interjecting when we don't need to. If we did, we say my bad, you know, and we try to move the conversation forward. Right. So I want to big up everybody that is allowing these people that are watching to experience what it is to communicate on an intellectual level.
No doubt.
And because communication is so big that oftentimes, you know, when y'all said people be paying attention to like how somebody said it, as opposed to what did they say, right? And then at the same time, maybe they don't even speak like you, but if you're able to understand what they're saying, why don't you just focus on what it is that they're saying, as opposed to how they're saying it? That means that you're not actually listening. You're just wanting to get to a point that you may have, or that you feel like is a good point. So I want to say that those that are watching and that will watch, you know, pay attention to how we're trying to communicate, or matter of fact, how we're communicating and displaying our points and getting to our points and being able to allow other people to speak. So I just wanted to say that as well.
No doubt, brother. No doubt.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to touch on that. Like, the message should ring true no matter how it sounds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and to talk about, to kind of circle back to, you know, people saying things like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? There's no competition. There's no race. Like 90%, I'm willing to bet every steak dinner, like the majority of these people got a different voice when they at work than when they at home. You know what I'm saying? So stop talking like it's not a difference. It is, right? If you don't want to say racism, say it's cronyism, right? Because people want to see and meld with their own tribe. That's just human nature. That's animal nature, right? When a bunch of cats, it's a bunch of cats in the alley, they end up hanging around each other. Dogs, whatever, a pack of dogs, a pack of cats. Y'all know what I'm saying? But it's getting to the point how y'all can tell a man, because I speak different, because I speak masculine, because my voice carry, right? You can tell me I'm yelling, but you can't tell a female she acting masculine.
Right. I like that.
Right.
And that's a clip right there, man.
Ricky, you cooking still?
Oh no, I'm good, bro.
Ricky be cooking. You know, Rilla, and to wrap this up, I know you want to move on, JR, real quick. Rilla mentioned terrestrial radio. A lot of people probably don't know what that means. That's AM/FM radio. That's your stereo. That comes in comes standard in all our automobiles. But it's something that we were just touching on about what we're indoctrinating and programming our children with. So if you don't mind, I'd like to say one thing that I try to tell the people that follow me. If you're a parent and you have children under the age of 18 in your house, stop listening to AM/FM radio while you drive with them, especially when you take them to school. They got plenty of time to listen to Cardi B and Drake and Lil Wayne and Jay-Z and Kanye. They got plenty of time. They're gonna hear enough music when they're with their friends. They're gonna hear music when you're not around. That's why they know those songs left and right. If you are driving if you are a parent and you have children and you're commuting to school, I'll just use school. Stop listening to AM/FM radios. More often than not, you guys have a modern car where you can pipe your cell phone audio into your car stereo. Instead, replace Cardi B with Eric Thomas. Replace replace Kanye West with Les Brown or Bob Proctor or Jim Rohn. Some sort of motivational speaking that will subconsciously set. Your kids may not like it while they sitting in the back seat and they backpacks are on waiting to get out the car. But if you would instead play a podcast while you're driving with your children instead of that latest Drake song, you'll be doing your children a world of help. You'll be doing your children a world of help. My father played the news back in the 80s when I drove with him. When my husband and my mom, they played music, but my father always listened to the news. And that got me, by the time I was 18, I was tapped into the news. I didn't care about, you guys heard me earlier, I don't care about sports. I didn't. Instead, I cared about what they were talking about on the news in Ronald Reagan and what Reagan was doing. So I want you guys, if you guys want to subconsciously, without any effort, raise the conscious elevation of, raise the elevation of the consciousness of your children. Remove AM, FM radio every time that your kids get in the back seat of the car and you're heading to school. It's a short commute. It's a small time, and replace that with something motivational and positive that can subconsciously embed in their mind over the years. So by the time they're 18 and get out the house, they can attribute a lot of the stuff that made them great to when mom and dad was planting it in their minds while riding to school.
I wanted to add to that too, Shannon. You can also turn it off completely and just have a conversation with your kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, too.
And you can talk to them about life. I found that to be really helpful for me as I go through my grieving process or whatever, and talking to my kids about how they are feeling with the passing of their mom. Right? If I put on the radio, you know what I'm saying, I can't get that interaction. In the car, they can't go nowhere. Right? They're gonna talk to me.
Stuck.
And then they stuck. They're gonna talk to me, right? Absolutely. And so that's been a world of help as well. And then as far as commuting to from school, one of the questions that parents don't, this is the question that they typically say. They say, how was your day? And the kid will say what?
Great.
It's okay.
Great.
Fine.
And then what does the parent do?
Leave it at that.
Leave it at that, right? Well, what the question should be is, why was it good? Tell me about what it is that you did in school today. Because now they have to remember what it is that they did. And if it's a routine thing, then they already know that it's gonna happen. One of the things I do with my kids at church, I always say, so tell me what's your takeaway for the day? And they know as soon as they get in the car, now it's like, okay, Daddy, can I go ahead and tell you my takeaway before anybody else tell you theirs? Right? So you want to get in also that point of having a conversation with your kids and helping them understand how to have a conversation with an adult as well. So I just wanted to add to that.
No doubt.
Yes,
If I could touch on that, it's so important we teach our kids how to be critical thinkers.
Right. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and to kind of put this in perspective to people for me not to get into a diatribe, right? It's kids right now, you know what I'm saying? Kids that's 5, 6, that wearing a mask is all they know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not even 2 years ago, you was able to move. I ain't gonna say completely freely because this is where we're at, right? But you was able to move a certain way. Concerts was big, sporting events, right? It's kids right now that's gonna grow up not even knowing that, right? It's and y'all gotta understand that when it comes to these schools, I'm not saying like Trill, like my boy Trill said, it's like, look, some people can't afford to send their kids to the best schools, but you can teach your kids discernment. You know what I mean? You can teach your kids to know how to research and learn facts from fiction, and you should be having those. Like my grandson right now, he in school, right? He talk to me, hey, grandpa, that's not true, that's a lie, right? Let's go find it. Let's go find it. We can go find it so you can see this is what's real, right? Well, why they teach us that? This is why they teach you that. You see what I'm saying? Stop acting like it's not different out here. Stop acting like that. If you made it through that way, congratulations. You an anomaly. Right? You an anomaly. But these things exist. They exist. That's all I'm saying. They exist. And not to address them, not be a victim, be aware. That way you can move as needed. Right? Y'all got to understand, ain't none of y'all who y'all would be without your environment. You don't know what person you would be if you got different information than what you got now. right? So y'all got to remember, it's like, and this is the example I like to use. You know, me, I'm 48, right? So I don't go to MTV or BET or whatever music you want to listen to, and they pumping out DMX, you know what I'm saying? Or 112, because I'm old. The market don't need me no more. They got my dollars, you know what I'm saying? But these kids, they gotta program them to get into the market. Y'all see what I'm saying? So it's hundreds of different information points that's being shoved at your kid on a day-to-day basis through their phone. They get to school, they on an iPad, they on a Chromebook, they on a computer, laptop. They don't even have. When the last time you seen a chalkboard? Right? When the last time you seen a chalkboard? Yes, the market, Issa Hopeful, the market of life, the exchange of energy and information. Right? So you gotta make sure that you're the, I hate to use this word, but it applies, the fact checkers for your children. And that's all I got on that.
JR.
Man.
Hey, brother JR.
Go
Can I
ahead.
say something on Ray real quick on this topic?
Yeah.
Hey, man, look, I appreciate what the brother Ricky Williams saying, man. That was some powerful stuff. And what I noticed, even from when I coach basketball, one of the biggest battles that I've had has been with the single moms. That's a whole nother story, but I'm not going to get too positive about that. One of the issues that we have fundamentally is we have so many boys being raised in these environments. Like he said, environments matter. And a lot of time not having that positive masculine leader that can help in so many different facets, from the economics to the leadership to the mentoring of boys. What ended up happening is now we're almost like 50 years behind in terms of having that patriarchal leadership in our community, having that man in place, having that father figure to teach and raise kids in that environment. And what has happened so far is that we've become so, I don't want to say feminine in terms of the culture, but they can't take criticism. Like I talk to boys, do you think you can go, you think you could go play for John Chaney at Temple? John Chaney? Have you ever heard John Thompson talk? See, I played against Georgetown, and I've heard him curse. Let me tell you something. He cursed Allen Iverson out horribly. Allen Iverson put his head down and walked to the end of the bench because that's John Thompson. And a lot of what's happening now is we have raised a group of men that can't take criticism, that can't take constructive criticism. That anytime the going gets a little bit tough, dudes fold. And I notice it in my practices. I work your ass, but I'll make you good. And I'll also come at you with the academics and schools and all this other stuff. And one of the obstacles you have, because we don't have this level of masculinity and this leadership in the households that we have in our community, is you have a lot of pushback from a lot of these I don't want to say the word son husbands, but a lot of what's happened in these communities is that a lot of the boys have become son husbands. And because that father's not there, they're being raised with a certain ideology. It's almost like we're raising male feminists because that man is not there to lead and put the masculinity back in the home and direct. So you're having to do, I noticed for me, I had to do double duty. And it's an uphill battle, but hopefully going forward, that factor has to change for us to have any success, because you can't build a community without focusing on men and boys, and most of the social programs and most of the money and resources that comes to that particular party is focused on feminist ideals and Black women businesses and all these other things that deals with the Black women in the community. They need to take those resources and focus that most resources in the community needs to be focused on men and boys. I don't care if you have to pay mentors. But that seems to be the problem in our community.
Have you guys ever seen that movie Whiplash?
Nah,
About
I
the
ain't seen
drummer?
that one.
Oh man,
What year was that? What year that come out?
Whiplash? I think
Yeah.
I forget what year. It's probably like 2015, 2014.
Oh,
It was
didn't
about a
sound
movie.
recent, but okay.
Oh no, it was a movie about a young jazz drummer, and he had a teacher that was harsh on him. It was a movie that the quote, because I used to do this quote: the two most harmful words in the English language is "good job." And there's a scene in there. I wish I could, man. Maybe I'll just post it up and I'll give you guys the link. Anyways, if you guys haven't seen the movie, it's about, because you mentioned that, can these kids go and get coached by this particular coach? But Whiplash is a movie about a music teacher who was so hard on his kids that he got fired. But he was teaching them and trying to show them how to be the best, and not just, average kids and shit. And that's why he had said himself, the two most harmful words in the English language is "good job," because as soon as you tell somebody that they did a good job when they just did average job, that they'll be fine with a good job. And there was this great scene, but I'll talk about it later. Go ahead, JR.
I want to ask you this. I think you made a good point, because we often tell our sons good job playing sports and so forth. And I know the Ingram experience, I think you might be familiar with sports with your kids and so forth. Should we be telling our kids the truth as far as like what they're doing when it comes to sports? Like if they really not getting it? Because I was told that I was too hard on my son, by telling him the truth. And, I didn't want to lie to him. I said, man, you don't got it. You don't got what it takes. Everybody else is elevating their game with age, and you still got the same game from when you was 10 years old. If you're not putting the work in, it's just not going to happen. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it and try to babysit them when it comes to that. But I was getting some backlash with that. So I just want to get you guys' opinions about, is it certain things that we exaggerate a little bit or kind of not tell the truth about when it comes to our sons, or do we just tell them the flat out reality, the truth?
I think you tell them the truth, and here's the reality: is that here's how I do it. Okay, there's a certain point that it has to be you. It has to come from you. They have to want it more than the parent. If they don't show that they want it more than the parent, you're wasting your time. Find something else to do. So there's a discipline part of it that you learn. So here's how I know how you want it. Okay. If you're 14 years old, right? And you're not waking me up, daddy, take me to the gym. Daddy, take me here. I need to put up some shots. I need to run some routes. I need to I need to go lift. I got to do that. Help me out here. I need to get better. I want to be better than this person. Whether it's academics, whether it's sports or whatever else. I mean, academics, you have to push them a certain way. They have to want it more than you. And everybody that's been successful at sports or anything have that dog in them. You look at Steph Curry, you look at those guys, there's that edge that they have. Okay. And it happened to me with high school. When I got to a certain level in high school as a basketball player, everybody just started moving in slow motion to me because I had that dog in me. The kids have to want it. And if they don't want it, tell them the truth, because life is truth, especially boys. It ain't about your feelings. We got to get these boys out of their feelings, man. This feelings thing is what's sinking our community, man. This is creating these soft dudes, man. And you see them all the time on these internet spaces coming up. Like they'll see a strong dudes they'll see a dude like that strong. Like, wait, a guy will have an excellent message. This dude would be like Warren Buffett type knowledge. And just because he has a little bit of a brass surface to him, these dudes get all in their emotion. You see it with Kevin Samuels. You see what all these do. They get all in their emotion. They don't listen to nothing the dude says. And they'll be demonizing him, attacking him or whatever. Don't even listen to nothing the man says because they're all in their feelings. And that's a problem. But you're right, JR. Tell him the truth. Because if he ain't putting in the work, you got to want it more than me, or we wasting our time.
Man, I can give okay. You got it?
No, you got it, humble dad.
Man, I this is at my alley, bro. Like I had this conversation with my daughter who plays softball. Her two, I have 4 kids. And the second oldest, Joshua, like he's automatically good, but he work hard. Like I don't have to ask him to do stuff, right? Well, my daughter plays softball, playing center field. That she was trying out for this one particular all-star team, and she didn't do good at all, right? And I told her, I said, man, I don't know what you call this, right? But before I said that, I asked her, I said, how do you think you did? Like rate yourself. And she said, I think I did good. I said, you got to be kidding. Like you didn't hustle, you didn't do anything as far as effort. And I said, okay, well then tell me who you think is going to make the team. And she listed off these people that she thought. I said, so you telling me you think you're in the last four? You didn't even practice for 2 weeks. So I don't understand how is it that you don't feel like you should make the team. And I said, I would be very surprised if your coach even picked you because your effort was not there, right? I told her that. The coach called, said she didn't make the team. I let her know, and she was not surprised, right? She didn't take it in a matter of oh man, my dad doesn't like me. I can't believe you said it to me. She took it because, especially with me, it's been consistent that I'm telling her that you're not doing what it takes. And I said exactly what Ingram Experience said. I said, listen, you got to want it more than I do. You know what I mean? I said, I don't want to just be paying money for you to be in something if you don't want to be in it, right? I'm cool if you would just want to play, but you told me you want to do something with it. So I'm not going to spend money on something you're not going to put forth the effort. So facts, 100%. You got to be honest with them. And whoever telling you not to be, I guarantee you look at their kid and it's a different kid than yours.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, especially the male child. You know what I'm saying? Especially the male child. Like I said, I got sons and all of them play Pop Warner, traveling, AAU football. You know what I'm saying? And there's been plenty of times. Like my son, my oldest son, he got scouted by some colleges up here, right? But he didn't want to play. You see what I'm saying? So the conversation I had was like, I know you good. That ain't the question. The point is that once you get to a certain level, good's not good enough. Right? So what do you want to do? And it's not to bash him or push him down. It's so we can maximize the time available. Right? If you don't want to do that, let's find something else that you're interested in so we can get you built to understanding so you can flourish in that. You know what I'm saying? But to keep lying and giving them participation trophies when life not really like that, I mean, you doing your child a disservice. And no matter what y'all think, that's gonna come back because when the world kick them, they're gonna be back on your doorstep. Not saying anything wrong with that, but that's just how it goes. You got to prepare your child for the world. And no matter what society keep telling y'all with this different information and these different point of views or lifestyles, when it all come down to it, the game don't change, only the players, baby. The game don't change. So it don't matter how much they keep telling you it's okay, you're able to feel this way. When it comes down to it, this world is about exchanging energies. Who can get the most energy from you throughout your lifetime without paying for it?
Yeah, but brother, that's good stuff. But the worst pushback I ever get from as a coach, but I say this with all due respect, it's them damn single moms, man. They have given me hell. Them single moms has worn me down, JR. Well, they've ran me ragged, man. I'll be honest with you. They've taken a toll on me.
Be all right, man. Be all right. It's gonna be all right.
Man, kids.
Can I answer a question?
Go ahead.
Tamika in the chat said, what you believe in? I believe in me. I don't need you to believe in me. I don't need the world's validation. The Most High gave me everything I need. I don't need you to like me. You weren't put on this earth to like me.
Yeah, you from the crib.
I was put on this earth to time travel and leave something to my children. I was put on this earth to be better than what my mama and my daddy was. I believe in me. I don't need nobody telling me what I am. I am a man. And until you know what you are, you wasting time, God. And the problem with our people is y'all don't know who you are. Y'all is being defined and told what you are, how to do it, and when to be it. I'm a man. I came out my mama hole the same way every other man came out. Who is you to tell me anything? Who are you?
Ricky, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You know, I like to derail the conversation. So you used to go to the fort?
Nope.
Hey, JR, he sounded just like the soundbite, man.
Nope. That's what I'm saying. It's like y'all.
Nope.
I don't get why y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand the synergy of life, man. It's just weird. It's weird to me that we at this place
because they haven't been taught, though, Ricky. That's why you here. We haven't been taught. That's why you here, bro.
Where you get it from, Ricky?
Just like I read a lot. I don't believe. Like, how can I consistently believe information that doesn't lead to anywhere? Right? Again, my father wasn't in my life. My father took care of me for 6 months. And the one thing he dropped a gem, and that's why I tell you can receive information from anybody. It doesn't matter, right? How long a person's in your life. You got to pick up what they putting down, right? This is what my father told me, and it stick with me to this day. If it don't make sense, it's not true. If it doesn't make logical sense, it's not true. It's not.
Right? Unpack that for me.
Good. Can I use an example?
Please, because I don't understand.
So for example, right, you have a lot of information that's being pumped to people just on a general basis, right? That A plus B equals C, when you look at it, A plus B is actually D. For example, right? Ladies, if you got a husband and you see where he working, you see his paycheck, and every other week his check is 40 hours, 60 hours, 40 hours, 60 hours. Then all of a sudden, right, his check go to 30 hours. And you ask him where he at. He like, I'm at work. No, you're not. Right? What is he doing? He doing one or two things. Right? Him telling you, oh, they messed up my time card and you don't never see the correct time card come in, right? What is he doing? He telling you a story, but is the story making sense? Right? No, it's not. It's the same with the fellas. Your girl can go through your phone, but you can't go through her phone. I gave you $1,000. I gave you $500 to go back groceries, and you come in with 2 bags, and you say you spent all the money.
That's real.
Shannon, what you thinking, bro?
No, but what I'm saying is, it seems like that discernment with people is going out the window based because they feel a certain way about something. No, no one cares. They're your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. They're yours. You can be happy. You can be sad whenever you feel like it. Right? We got actions and we got results. We got actions and we got results. That's it. That's what men held to. That's what we're held to, men. Right? Don't nobody care that you wasn't feeling good and you know the mortgage gotta get paid. Don't nobody care. Toyota don't care that the reason why your car note ain't paid because your car broke down 2 weeks ago. They don't care. They don't care how you feel about it. I gotta operate on logic and reason because this world is telling you everything is about your feelings. I feel I'm a girl, even though you was born a man, and vice versa.
That came up last night.
Uh-oh.
You feel this way. That don't make it true. Well, here we go. Here we go. Listen.
Did you hear what I said?
Well, this is my truth.
Hold on, Ricky. Let's just have a conversation. Ricky, you're giving them too much, man. You're giving them too much.
Yeah, man. I swear we in the just generation.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
baby.
That's the problem. Man.
You know what it is that Ricky is coming from a masculine perspective that so many of these women are not accustomed to. And when a man is masculine in our community, it's like a shock to the system because we got so many feminine men in our community, these enablers or these white knights or these feminist men that don't speak from the heart like Brother Ricky here. And when women hear men that are, direct and affirmative, they're like, it's like a shock. And you have 8 men on this panel, and we don't have any radical feminists shouting them down. So they're not accustomed to all this masculinity being poured upon them. It's like, it's like kryptonite.
Hey, yo, Ingram. Hey, shout out to Sailor in the chat. Sailor is dumbing out over you. Sailor, hey, we love Sailor over here. We love Sailor. She is going ham.
Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, like I always tell people, man, I ain't never gonna change my message for women. I mean, for women, for money. I don't care if my YouTube channel fail. I'm gonna be the same dude now until the end. Because like I told him, I'm 47 years old, man. I retired at 46 years old. The check is gonna come on the first, regardless. At the end of the day. So I always tell them there's gonna be a couple more checks coming next year. So at the end of the day, I don't have to pander to no one. I don't give a rat's ass. If you want you want a guy that's completely rogue, that rogue male lion, that's me. I don't pander to no women. I'll tell them exactly what I think, and I'll keep it moving. I'll tell dudes that too. If I think I'll call dude right out. I'll tell him right off the bat. I think you're a simp, or I think you're an apologist, and I think you need to get your balls out of the jar. I'll tell him, I'll tell a dude that right in his face. I don't care, man, because I'm not, like I said, I don't do that simping thing. I don't do that feminist thing. I've seen what that stuff has done to the community. These woke dudes speaking on code, having our community fail and shit. And then they keep talking that crap, and then we living in mediocrity and shit. Nah, go somewhere with that shit. I don't care. I've seen that shit for too many years, man. They want that weak ass bullshit that they bring to the table, that feminist white knight crap. I'll curse them out in a second, man. I don't care. What are they gonna do? Fire me? I don't have a job.
It's like
Craig.
To me, guys, it's just simple. It's simple. Like, to be honest with, I mean, like, if we keeping it a bean, right? You gonna get blamed for it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's tell the truth, man. If we being honest about the black man in America, bro, you get blamed for it anyway.
Well, I just did a video on that. I was like, you know what? It's your fault anyhow, regardless of what. If you're a man, it's gonna be your fault, regardless. So why not say what you got to say and keep it moving? I'm not saying that you should put your job or anything in jeopardy, because we are dealing with the social media policy. Everybody has social media policies at their job they have to abide by. And I showed the brother JR respect on his show. But this woke code crap is bullshit. And people talk about all that government empowerment, welfare state crap. I am the worst, the person. I hate that crap. That has destroyed our families. All this government crap. And every time somebody referenced the government as a solution, I cringe. We seen what the government did to our household. Let me tell you something. You want to fix the black community right away? Cut all government benefits tomorrow. Cut welfare, cut all those benefits tomorrow. The family will be back intact. By 2022, you'll have the family back intact, because most of our problem is government empowerment. You get rid of that government crap, the family would be back intact. The Black community will figure out its own problems in a few months, fast.
Yeah, there you go. We about to be ready to come to a conclusion of this show. Coach, I seen you had your hand up. Did you want to get final words? Or you on mute, just so you know, sir?
Real quick, for the final words, brother, I would say this. You know, you keep doing what you're doing. Now, I will say this. There's a time for all things. There's a time to be very vociferous in what you say towards your son. But also there's a time to be a silent and just let him vent. It's a time for all things. The problem now, like Ingram was saying, we're not used to masculine men speaking truth to power and speaking with conviction. When you look at the African ancestors and the elders of the past, they will actually take the boys out to the wilderness to understand the rights of manhood. Many times the women would cry and say, don't take my baby out in the wilderness. But the dad said, no, woman, be quiet. I got this. This boy got to go. Because men understand that manhood is a series of hills and valleys, victories and failures. And so if a man don't go through the rites of passage, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu talked about that in the past, he's not going to ever be the best version of himself as a man. So I would say there's a time to be very demonstrative in how you feel. There's a time to just be silent and let the child vent. But overall, I think it's good that you hold your son accountable, tell him the truth, not sugarcoat it, because the world is not going to tell him the truth when it comes down to them looking at him as a black man in America. So that was my final points on that.
Well, there you have it. Gentlemen, this has been a great episode, man. Appreciate everybody that came out tonight. Ricky, you was spot on, brother. My usual crew, man, you know what it is. You know what time it is. The Ingram Experience, thank you for coming in, sir. Appreciate you. And Kosher Clinician, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you, brothers. All right, y'all, that's a wrap, man. You guys in the chat, make sure you guys, well, people that's watching, make sure you like the stream before you leave this stream. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Memberships are open. Make sure you click that join button, man. It's been a great episode, man. And we out. All right, y'all.
JR, we bike.
Yeah.
Can I plug something real quick? You mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
I put you on spot. Like, how you gonna ask me all publicly? Can I plug something?
While I'm doing my outro.
Listen, everybody. Tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, I'm starting a 60-day workout called Insanity. A lot of you guys have done that. Maybe you guys haven't. If anybody's interested in starting off the new year and you want to, I guarantee you, burn 20 pounds. If whatever you weigh now, subtract 20 pounds by the end of February. Tap in with your boy tomorrow morning. I'm starting it off tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock on my channel. I don't rarely do plugs, but I wanted to plug this because I know a lot of people want to start off the new year getting fit, getting healthy, probably gained a lot of weight during the holidays like I did. And if you want to burn that stuff off and you feel that you can be dedicated enough to tap into my show every morning, we're going to work out 6 days a week at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then tap in with me. I just wanted to put that on there. We're doing Sean T's Insanity for the next 2 months.
Shan, what time zone? What time zone? What time zone?
Pacific Standard. 6 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. It's going to be 9 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. So, and it's about each day is a 45-minute workout, and all you got to do is watch my channel. So all you got to do is watch my show. You could work out with me, and then if you want to work out and be on the camera, I'm adding Zoom is going to be there, so you can join. There's a lot of different ways, but all you got to do, the first step is just to tap in with the show tomorrow. And if you guys are ready to burn that weight and you want to get fit, check in with your boy.
I'm gonna tell you guys. Hey, hold on. I'm gonna tell you this shit. I'm gonna tell the truth, man. Shannon is doing naked yoga tomorrow.
Shannon doing naked yoga?
When y'all turn those cameras on, it's gonna be naked.
Wait, I gotta see this. The chat just went up. All them ladies.
Popcorn. I'm telling you that right now. That's what it's gonna be.
Come for and it's naked hot yoga. It's Bikram yoga.
Naked hot yoga. Shout out to James Turner. Shout out to you, James Turner. Shout out to Thinking Man's Podcast. Shout out to the Art of Facts, the Black Experience. God, dog. Shannon doing naked yoga.
Shannon doing naked yoga at 6 a.m. Specific time.
Tap in for the naked yoga. Tap in for the naked yoga, y'all. Tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. I've already set everything up. I tested out. I set the system up today. I tested out the cameras. I tested out the video.
Wait,
It's
so you
streaming in
doing
high
naked yoga
definition.
from every angle? What the hell?
Like, man, she wide open, ain't she? Shan?
Now a lot of people can't do. Listen, here's the thing. Now I gotta be honest. Insanity is not easy. It's not. It's really a very. It's a hit workout. It's high intensity training. It's HIIT, high intensity training workout, and it's not easy. Most people can't do it. Right. So it's not for those that's just trying to just ease into getting fit. This isn't for you. This is a hard, it's difficult to do, and you will sweat a lot, and it's very rigorous. However, the results are kind of guaranteed. You're guaranteed. So whatever you weigh today, you will be able to subtract 20 pounds by the time we're finished. That's at a minimum.
Killing it, man.
I'm just saying.
Goals from every angle, man. God,
so if they can't, hey, listen, look, I'm just trying to get people better. I'm doing my part, man. I'm just doing we read a little bit. We talk about high value stuff. We work out.
People read. We out here doing hit campaigns. We watching movies.
So if you guys can't, if you want to do a softer workout, if you want to do something kind of simple, this ain't for you. But if you want to do an aggressive workout and you have the time, if you have 45 minutes each morning, then tap in with me and most of you guys won't finish. Even if you start, you're gonna be like you won't even get past the warm-up. The warm-up is hard for most people. But if you think that you can do it, then be there.
So you saying if they want
so
to
do you want people to come or do you not want them to come?
Like
what is
no,
your,
I don't
you want them to come?
I don't want people to come. I don't want people to come that are I don't need quitters there. So if you're a quitter,
so you want them to last.
Yeah. You got to be able to.
Okay.
If you tend to quit on most things, then you probably don't want to show up. Just go ahead and stay in the bed. If you don't tend
like
to
it is
quit,
marketing that you got going on.
I gotta co-sign what Shannon's saying. I had did insanity for 6 months in the past, and he's right, bro. It'll get you right, but that first week, ooh.
Wait, so insanity ain't naked yoga? It's not yet naked yoga?
I mean, it could be whatever you want it to be.
It's aggressive naked yoga.
You can do it naked.
It's aggressive naked yoga.
It's aggressive.
And when you finish, you get some strawberry popcorn.
Man, I'm gonna talk to you offline, JR. I had no idea this thing existed.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, man. I'm about to Google it.
It's at Mariano's.
What
my girl was listening to the show and sent it to me. Like, yeah, it exists.
You talking about strawberry popcorn?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yoga. I said they're doing naked yoga at Mariano's. I said, damn.
They might. Hey, they might be.
Oh my gosh.
They might be.
Hey, that might be a thing, Shan. While you starting there, you might have to start that up, man. I mean, if they're not gonna say nothing about it on YouTube, it's art. It's art.
Oh no, I gotta wait. So what I'm gonna do is if you want to work out with the audio, then you'll be over on my
if you want to work out with me.
I'm working out on camera. I'm doing it. See the thing, I'm gonna be on camera doing the moves. And it's a hit workout, right? But the audio is gonna be playing over at Zoom. So you guys are tapping to Zoom if you want to actually do it, or I have a modified version that I'm gonna have over on YouTube. So it'll be live streamed on YouTube, right? But I've circumvented the problems. So it's all worked out. So that's what I'm saying. If anybody wants to get it in, then just tap in with me tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock.
So Zoom is okay with naked yoga?
Yeah.
Naked yoga.
Yeah.
And I could bring 50 people. I could bring up to 50 people into Zoom. So YouTube, I'm limited at 10. Zoom, I could go up to 50 people watching the same thing.
Trying to have a fast time.
Well, I've done it before. I've done it before. But I required everybody to have their own copy because the internet wasn't working as good as it does today. Now I could stream the video and nobody needs to have a copy. So they just need to just tap in and have a water bottle and make some space so they can get it in. So it's a lot easier.
A bucket. Make sure you got a
bucket.
I like how we say these statements and you let them roll off and you go to your plug. I know
1,000%. Hey, just for the chat, real quick, JR, I promise I'm gonna let you do your closing, bro. Hey, just for the chat, if y'all want to see an after hours one of these Tuesdays, because we're gonna have to schedule it. But if y'all want to see the after hours with just the bros for after hours, because I think that'll be impactful too to see us unplugged. At least for 45 minutes to an hour, throw your ones up in the chat. Just a one in the chat. and then I'm gonna be on JR Head to get us a King Talk after hours so we can dumb out for y'all, and then Shannon can promote his naked yoga.
There you go. They got the ones for the after hours. And they're gonna be tonight, though. I'll tell you that much. They're gonna be tonight. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. I see the ones in the chat. I see the ones. I see Miss Parker laughing. Miss Parker wants that high yoke, that aggressive naked yoga.
Aggressive.
Miss Parker in LA. She can pull up.
Oh shit.
Put her on
Hey,
camera.
look, I'm trying to figure out how many females throwing them ones up.
Hey, Miss Parker.
Right. Oh.
All right, gentlemen, man. It's been real. Thank you guys in the chat, man. And you guys is watching out there. It's been a great show. Again, make sure you guys hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. And tomorrow we got JB, Broke and Dusty show. JB's Broke and Dusty show is coming on tomorrow, man. So make sure you guys show up and rock out. You never know what you're gonna get with JB, man. That's a wild card right there. It's like the Joker. It's like the Joker. He might be the ace. What y'all think? The ace or the Joker, really?
Hey man, JB such the young man. He's such the yeah.
Yeah, like I think JB might be the card you pull out the deck.
Man, listen. Hey, he the one you thump that whole deck. Wow, nigga. When you play spades.
I know really be doing that shit.
Man, hey,
dramatic as hell. Whole table.
Look,
My bad, ain't mean not table though.
If I slap Bones, that whole table moving.
You
I slap
youngins.
Bones, the
You
whole
don't-
table.
Please
moving.
don't let it just be 5 points though. Really,
I don't play
It
spades.
ain't
I play
gonna be
trumps.
It ain't gonna be 5. I'm gonna hit.
We don't even play fives this way, man. We ain't play five.
everybody play different. That's why I'm saying don't get excited for no 5 points, bro.
Yeah, I don't play spades. I play trumps. It's a difference.
All right, gentlemen. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night, man. Get y'all some sleep because we got to wake up and get back to business, man. Whatever business that is, man. Let's get us a good night rest. All right, people out there in TV land. King Talk, it's a wrap.